Hey y'all, it's me again. Welcome to Q's Corner. Thanks for joining me. I would like to welcome you all and actually give me one moment. I'll be back because I do not think I have made this public yet. I do this all the time, y'all, so I have to go to, I guess I'm actually not going. I have to go to YouTube and make it public so that I can see you guys. So I can see you guys and see you talking. I am still learning, and it's been so much fun to learn. Oh, let's see. And maybe I have to do it here in StreamYard. I'm trying to remember where. Yep, because I can't see you guys. There we are. Okay, so now let's do that all over again. We'll do the intro again. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Q's Corner, where one girl gives her opinion from her little corner of the world. And thanks for joining me. I'm happy to have y'all here. And let's get started. This morning, I would like to give a special shout out to my friend Richard Henry, who is caffeinating me this morning. I have my iced coffee here in my lovely strawberry shortcake coffee mug, which I got from Hot Topic, which is the young people's place. I know, but they had a strawberry shortcake tumbler, and I had to get that. So Richard is caffeinating me this morning. I am actually drinking a sample of his new vanilla cake coffee. So a moment, I did try some before I started the stream, and it was amazing. So to start off, I am going to show you guys where you can go if you want to get some of Richard's coffee. Let me find him. I know I have him on here. Uh, where are we? Up there we are. My coffee shop site. Let me share this. I'm going to take myself out. Roll. I'll make myself smaller. We'll do that. So this is Richard's coffee website. It's on his website, richardthenry.com. I will link all of these things in the description later today because I did not put them in there before I did. It didn't load it up, but I'll put them in there later today. But he does micro batch coffees. I've been getting his coffee for the last few months. I wish I could say he's always been caffeinating me, but he hasn't. But today he definitely is with the sample, like I said, his new vanilla cake coffee, which is amazing. I see you, Sharja. Hold up, let's see that. She says Hot Topic is not just for teenagers who hate their parents. It's not, because I actually have an outfit from Hot Topic, so y'all don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay, so we've shared Richard's website. Like I said, amazing coffee. I love it. It's so smooth. It tastes great. Good morning, y'all. I see you. I am still working this whole little show comments and participate with you guys as I do the live stream. So forgive me. I promise I will get better at it. I see you in here, dear woke Christian. I see you in here, God's fancy girl, V, Grace and Peace. Hey, Susie Q. As you all have heard from Dear World Christian and just from everybody going around the internet, if you hang out on YouTube at all or any of these interwebs, there's been a lot going on. We are going to talk about a few of those. I'm going to stop sharing Richard. Like I said, I'm going to load his description in the screen. So we're going to talk about some of it. We're going to start by doing some city girl stuff. So the former state's attorney, excuse me, I think that's the equivalent to the DA, will be the DA in Fulton County and in other places. Marilyn Mosby, she was sentenced today, this week, excuse me, not today. She was not sentenced today. She was sentenced this week, and she was sentenced for, I'm going to share the screen here. She was sentenced for mortgage fraud and for perjury, lying about it. So it says Baltimore's former top prosecutor spared prison for mortgage fraud and perjury. She actually could have gotten, I want to say it was up to 25 years in prison, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the state was asking for 20 months in prison, and she ended up not getting any prison time at all. She was, we're going to just read it here. It's from Greenbelt, Maryland, my old stomping grounds when I lived in the DMV, which is actually called the area when I lived there, so that's changed. The former Baltimore city prosecutor who achieved national profile by charging officers in a black man's death was spared prison time in her sentence on Thursday for perjury and mortgage fraud. Democratic former state's attorney Marilyn Mosby's sentence includes 12 months of home confinement, 100 hours of community service, and 3 years of supervised release. And all of these are to be served concurrently, which means that she is going to be serving them at the same time. So she did avoid prison. She is not just trying to avoid prison. So, background if you don't know, Marilyn Mosby during the COVID pandemic or plandemic, as I call it, which I think is more accurate, she decided that she was going to apply for a hardship withdrawal from her state's retirement fund. She's not of retirement age. She apparently, I think most state funds, you can't withdraw your money until it's actually time. And if you do, it has to be a hardship withdrawal, which means you have to give them a reason why you're withdrawing it. She did a hardship withdrawal, withdrew money from her state's retirement account, and then proceeded to buy 2 luxury properties in Florida. I forgot also in her sentencing, she had to forfeit $90,000 in property equity, whatever it was, for her Florida condo, one of her Florida condos. So she was made to basically give that up, I believe. Maryland, prior to even being sentenced, decided that she was going to go for a presidential pardon, which is actually pretty unheard of. Most people have already been sentenced by the time they go for a presidential pardon, but I am going to share with you Maryland's plea for a presidential pardon and why she said she deserved one. And I think this is when it tells us that. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Breaking news.
Let me look.
Welcome to the news at 11. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Rick Ritter. That breaking news as we come on the air tonight. Former Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby launching a new campaign tonight, but not for office.
In just the past hour, WJZ has learned that Mosby launched a new website, Justice for Maryland. This is all related to her federal fraud case. It comes after her appearance earlier this evening on MSNBC, where Mosby asked President Biden for a pardon.
What do you want to see happen? I know there's a petition asking President Biden to pardon you. Is that what you want? I mean, I think that that's appropriate. I mean, I think I don't believe that. I know that I've done absolutely nothing wrong, nothing criminal, and to be separated from my children for 40 years as a result of withdrawing $90,000 of my own money, it just makes absolutely no sense.
The online petition just mentioned, calling for the president to pardon Mosby, has more than 9,000 signatures. Mosby is scheduled to be sentenced later this month after she was convicted on federal perjury and mortgage fraud charges back in February.
And Mosby stands by her claim that this case was politically motivated and that she did nothing wrong. She did serve 2 terms as Baltimore City State's Attorney before losing a re-election bid in 2022.
Now, here's what I want to say to that. Just because she lost her reelection bid after she was indicted. So after she did something wrong, the citizens of Baltimore decided that they did not want to take a chance on her being their state's attorney again. Now, I will say that is better than the state of Georgia, more specifically Fulton County, because as we all know, Fani, I'm sorry. I'm not going to disrespect her. She doesn't like that. I will just call her Madam, as she prefers to be called. Won her primary for re-election to Fulton County District Attorney. Yay, Fulton County. She handily beat Christian Y. Smith in the primary for this office. I want to say she ended up, and I'm sorry, I did not pull up, I meant to pull up the Fulton County election results. I may do that before we end and show you guys. But I want to say she did like 83% to, and then maybe more, because I think he only ended up with 13% with about 97%, 98% of the vote counted. So unlike Baltimore, Atlanta decided that, hey, we like her. We're going to keep her. We don't care what she has going on. I know she has not been indicted of anything, but that woman has more hearings, cases, potential indictments, subpoenas, all this thing than a lot of the common criminals she's trying to prosecute and the people that she's holding in jail without actually indicting them. She has more charges, allegations leveled against her than any of them. So, not only did Fulton County fail to get rid of Fani, I thought they were going to do it, Jason, early on. I did like they did in the 2020 election in Arizona and called it early. Atlanta did not get rid of, Fulton County did not get rid of $1 million Hall. Natalie Hall, the woman who cost Fulton County $1 million in her lawsuit because she was um, in a relationship with her chief of staff, who decided he did not want to be in a relationship with her anymore and was subsequently fired. Then she put a LoJack on him and harassed him and all of these things. He sued the county for wrongful termination and got nearly $1 million in payment. And Fulton County, did not get rid of Miss Hall. They are sending her to a runoff. Now, I guess, she didn't get majority of the vote. So yay, we can say yay to that. But she did get about 43% of the vote and is now going to go into a runoff. So after costing the county $1 million and a lot of public embarrassment, she and Fani are running neck and neck for that. She decided that, Fulton County decided that, hey, we might give her another chance. So say a prayer that the people who voted for the third candidate, who got around, I think, 18% of the vote or so, say a prayer that they don't vote for Natalie Hall, because it just might cost them another $1 million or more. Who knows? They're already going to eventually come out with Fani because, again, lawsuits, accusations, all this stuff. Fani's legal troubles have not gone away. And I really don't think, I know Fulton County is popping. They are LA East, LA Southeast to be more exact. But I don't think they can sustain all the money these ladies are going to cost them. And yes, Shara Joel, it is more reason to repeal the 19th. We really shouldn't have these ladies in charge. Good morning, Richard. Gave you a shout out. I saw Susie Q. She posted your website for your coffee in there. I was telling them I was trying out your new vanilla cake roast, and it's really good. I see you, God's fancy girl. Workplace relationships are as American as apple pie. Yeah, well, I don't think they should end in you being LoJack. Fired, that happens, but LoJack, I don't think that should happen. And I definitely don't think that it should cost the taxpayers nearly $1 million and more, because they had to pay the legal fees too. So it's not like it's just costing them the $1 million that she got paid out. Moving on, staying in Georgia, but going right down the road near Whitaker Park, found out that Dear Woke Christian may not be out of the woods yet with his RICO charges, because Big Nate Dogg's original Cobb County boo thing, Miss Sonia Allen, she won the Democratic primary for Cobb County DA. So more than likely, because she beat the incumbent DA, more than likely, she is going to run against an opponent in the fall. I did not see who that opponent would be, so I'm not really sure if she has one, but more than likely she's going to be the Cobb County DA. So, Jason, fortify Whitaker Park, man, because those RICO charges may be coming in through Cobb County. Funny thing, staying in Georgia just for a little bit longer, there was one piece of good news in the elections in Georgia, and that is the Nuck If You Buck mayoral candidate in Macon did not win. So they will not have a mayor who is still facing charges for assault. So yay, Georgia is 1 for 1 million this week, and Fulton County is 0 for nothing. Uh, Maryland is weaving the tail for standing behind strong Black women. In fact, when she finished her sentencing, she hugged all of her supporters because there are supporters now. Initially, for her initial, because she had two separate trials, they separated the charges. In her first trial, there was nobody there, and in her second trial, she decided she was going to bring her daughters along to support her, and she was so surprised because there were busfuls of people who were supporting Maryland. So that is probably why she named her petition for pardon Justice for Maryland, because she now has supporters. They don't believe that this strong Black woman needs to go to jail, needs to be a criminal. They don't believe she did anything wrong. They're standing by her. And interestingly enough, her ex-husband says that he believes it's all his fault that she's in the trouble she's in because he had tax issues and kept them from her for years. We are now going to move on to the next city girl mayor. Y'all have heard about Tahoe Tiff. Y'all, and also I want to say, y'all who were in my premiere for the Thornton Township video, addendum to the Dalton video I did, I am still editing that. I thought I was going to have plenty of time between work and the kiddos. Did not, but I'm editing it and I hope to have that up tonight. But Tahoe Tiff, in the meantime, she's supposed to talk to the grand jury this past Monday. And as you guys know, grand juries are secret. They don't record, they don't let you do recordings in there. They're closed sessions because it's about indictments. So we have not yet gotten leaks from the grand jury, but I am sure they're coming because though they're supposed to be secret and quiet, they very, very rarely are. And Tahoe Tiff, your day is coming, ma'am. You are going to jail. I do not have Dear Woke Christian's sound effect, but I can just kind of think it. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. You are. And I truly hope that Fonnie Willis has the perp walk and hears that clink clink one day herself. They definitely are city girl shenanigans at God's Fancy Girl. They are city girl, and they will not they will not cease until we stop voting for these people. So we're going to move off of the city girl for now, and we are going to move on to something that was really interesting to me, and I want to know if y'all know. So in the chat, before I share the article and the small little clip about it, did y'all know that there was a position for a Beyonce reporter? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody ever heard of it? Anybody knew it? Did you apply for it? If you did know about it, did you apply for the position to be the Beyonce reporter? Well, this, y'all, can only go. This is one of those things, kind of continuing my Oh Howard thing, because there is such thing. Gannett in 2023 created a position to exclusively be the Beyonce reporter. And oh, Howard, one of my illustrious alums, a lady by the name of Cash McClay, got that job. Now, here at the top of the article, it says, I'm super, super grateful for this role, Cash McClay. Now, that accent over this one would indicate that it'd be supposed to be Cache McClay, but the reporter in this video said that it was Cash, so I'm going to go with Cash. And later on in the article, it takes off the accent. She says, I grew up in a Beyonce household, so I was able to witness her generational impact firsthand. Just let that sit with y'all for just a second. She grew up in a Beyonce household, and she was able to witness firsthand the generational impact. Susie Q, yes, that is my face with that. It's like, are you kidding me? Char Joel, it's a yes, not a no, ma'am. And God's fancy girl, say what now? Yeah, it's a real role, and we are going to hear a little bit about it. Let's see if I can't. I don't think I can skip the ad, but I'm gonna keep the ad muted. And now I'm gonna unmute, and I'm going to take myself out yet again. Hopefully, it will start playing and take myself out. Oh, I did take myself out, so I'm going to make this. Can I make this bigger? I'm gonna make it a full screen. It was playing earlier, y'all. I swear.
USA Today Network
There we go.
has officially hired a reporter to exclusively cover music superstar Beyonce. Can you even imagine? Earlier this year, hundreds of journalists nationwide got information to apply for that job. We now know that journalist Cash McClay will take on the role. McClay will cover all things Beyonce, including her concerts, business ventures, and her upcoming film documenting her Renaissance tour. The Cleveland native previously worked for NBC News, BBC News, and TMZ. And this is really cool. McClay does have a connection to the DC area. She graduated from Howard University back in 2017. Big congrats to her.
Oh, Howard. Oh, Howard. Those are my people, y'all. Let me stop sharing. Those are my people. Those are my people. So Cash says that at the end, well, they let you know at the end of 23, it was announced they had hired two people in roles that were unlike any before, and one of the positions was the company's inaugural Beyonce reporter. McClay said when she heard about the role, she felt like she was meant for it. I mean, she grew up in a Beyonce household. So I am not sharing because I'm going through this article. I'm gonna keep myself small on the screen this time. Sorry, y'all. I brought myself back in. We're gonna keep me small on the screen this time, just so you guys can see me as I'm talking to you. But she says that she felt the role was meant for her. Grew up in a Beyonce household. I mean, what else are you gonna do? She even mentioned that in her submission to the video and during the application process. She said she told no one because she didn't want to jinx the opportunity. And after prayer and patience, she said the surreal opportunity with USA Today and the Tennessean was hers. But what exactly does a Beyonce reporter do? As they told you in the video, she's looking at everything her businesses, following her tours, etc., etc. McClain says that she came to the role at a great time, right on the heels of Beyonce's highly acclaimed Renaissance film, as well as ahead of her latest Cowboy Carter album, in which Beyonce goes country. I don't really believe she went country, but whatever. I haven't listened to the album, so I can't say. And I've heard that it's good, but then these people are also Beyonce fans, and I maybe like a couple of songs. So since starting, she's traveled to Queen Bey's hometown of Houston to better understand her ties to the community. And this included talking to the owners of Frenchie's restaurant, a location shouted out in her film, and not just talking about her as an artist, but her economic impact on the location. Sorry, I saw that, Susie. That's hilarious. Basically, and she says when she landed the role, McClay moved her life to Nashville, meaning she can cover Beyonce's newest country album in a location that resonates with the sound. I'm going to the Grand Ole Opry, McClay said. I'm talking to black female country artists who are impacted by this, who have been in the industry for such a long time, and hearing their voices on this. So I plunged right into the country music scene. The album, which McClay has described as groundbreaking, has propelled conversations in not just in the country music lane, but the entire industry. Beyonce was very deliberate and intentional with this album of highlighting country music legends and pioneers, and also Black artists in this industry and country music's invisible and Black roots, the reporter said. Cowboy Carter features prominent voices from the present and past, including Linda Martell, Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Miley Cyrus, Post Malone, and others. Linda Martell was considered the first prominent Black woman in country music, but she didn't get all the flowers she deserves, McClay said. So Beyonce was very intentional about including her on this album, paying homage to her, but also present day emerging Black country artists who have been making strides, but have been struggling for mainstream success or working so hard for it for a long time. Shabuzi, Willie Jones, Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tierra Kennedy, and Raina Roberts are some of those names. Stop sharing. So, what do y'all think about that? Does anybody want to take her place as the Beyonce reporter? Because when I saw the article, y'all, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This has to be a joke because there is no way in the world there is actually a Beyonce reporter. But yes, Susie Q, she's basically getting paid to stalk Beyonce's every move, which lends itself to this whole little thing about Beyonce being worshipped. Don't I don't know that they have a reporter that honestly exclusively follows a president. There's a pool of reporters. I mean, but they follow political things, and I think that there are people, who definitely go on. But I don't think they have a Joe Biden um, reporter, or they have a. Did Michael Jackson have a reporter? Like, this is making me want to look up. Did Prince have a reporter? Because these guys are people, like I said, icons, and I actually love them. I'm surprised they don't have a Taylor Swift reporter coming already, Shar Joel. I am sure Taylor Swift is going to protest because Beyonce has her own reporter. Why shouldn't Taylor Swift? Now, she could also sue them because she was trying to sue the gentleman who is tracking her every move of her private jet, even though it's published. So yeah, and his servant, yes. I don't know if she has an altar when she's on stage. I can't say that. So, but I know that she does. There is a Church of Bay, so there are people who actually think of her as a god or goddess, I guess they would say, and they do basically worship her. So, yeah. So that was something that I thought was really really interesting that I wanted to talk to you about today. We are continuing to move on. Also in the kind of DEI, and I think it's funny kind of realm, is that they're saying that the article says Nike diversity officer gets 5 years, and I have to find where are we? It's Maryland. I'm trying to find my article again. Uh-oh, it went out. But it's the Nike diversity officer is getting 5 years for, oh boo, I'm gonna find it. For stealing money for embezzlement. So hold on, y'all, while I look this up. And I find it funny that they say Nike, and I understand why, because Nike was the second place. But she really was, and the person, the place that was impacted the most was Facebook, because she was the Facebook diversity officer. And the reason I say it's funny to me, because this whole DEI thing, you're bringing in people because you want diversity, equity, inclusion, and you get stolen from. And I think it's absolutely funny. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Highly melanated women acting ratchet. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna go look at this article too, because it's what's hilariously funny is that after she was caught stealing at Nike, she was able to, and I'm gonna take myself out of this one just so it can be there, and you just see the art. I can put, because I'm not making it bigger. Okay, so former Facebook and Nike diversity officer manager gets 5 years in prison for $5 million fraud. So a former diversity manager at Facebook and Nike was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison for stealing a total of more than $5 million from those companies. Barbara Furlow Smiles, who pleaded guilty to wire fraud in the case in December, stole more than $4.9 million from Facebook, utilizing a scheme involving fraudulent vendors, fake invoices, and cash kickbacks, said Atlanta U.S. Attorney Ryan Buchanan. There you go, DWC. We still having the Atlanta people involved in it. Furlough Smiles used the money she stole to fund a luxury lifestyle in California, Georgia, and Oregon, according to Buchanan's office. So here's a lovely young lady who's going to be going to prison now. And this says she was all smiled at the 2020 Sisters Awards at Skirball Cultural Center on March 8th, 2020 in Los Angeles, California. She's going down. We said that she was former Facebook and Nike manager. She was sentenced to 5 years for that. And what this money had been marked was for DEI initiatives, according to federal prosecutors. Well, I mean, she's DEI, she's diverse, she wanted equity and inclusion. This is what happened. So, Georgia resident Barbara Furlow Smiles, who pleaded guilty to wire fraud in the case in December, stole the $4.9 million. We heard that. So, what she was doing, y'all, is she hooked her Nike credit card up to her Venmo, her Cash App, her PayPal, I think it was, but to these other things. And she would buy money. I mean, she would buy things for herself. She would pay her relatives. She would do all of these things that would benefit her. She'd either buy things for herself, have her relatives buy things, or have them submit invoices as vendors, and then they would give her cash back from it. Her husband was involved in it too. They were like passing money off in paper bags. This was like, pre-internet, pre-digital type deals. They were still passing money off in paper bags to people. So we'll go back to the article. So we know that she did the kickbacks, fake invoices. After being terminated from Facebook, she brazenly continued the fraud as a DEI leader at Nike, where she stole another six-figure sum from their diversity program. Furlough Smiles, 38, used the money she stole to fund a luxury lifestyle in California, Georgia, and Oregon, according to Buchanan, which had asked a judge to give her 6.5 years. The judge yes, cash is fungible. The judge knocked a year off of her sentence that was asked for by the U.S. Department of Justice. She was the lead strategist and global head of employee resources groups and diversity engagement at Facebook, a subsidiary of Meta. She was not Facebook's top executive for diversity and equity and inclusion efforts, but she was up there. Prosecutors said that while at Facebook, she linked her PayPal, Venmo, Cash App accounts to her Facebook credit card and used them and those accounts to pay her friends, relatives, and others for purported goods and services to the company that was never delivered. I don't know why they're mad. Her relatives are Black. She was including them in Facebook's as Facebook vendors. She worked for Facebook. So why is it that her relatives couldn't get paid? She was including them, got the I. They were diverse. It wasn't just friends. It wasn't just family. It was friends. That's diversity. And she was equitably distributing it amongst them and herself. I don't get it. She did what DEI is supposed to do. So I say free, what is her name? Smiles. What is her name? Furlough Smiles. Free Barbara. Free Barbara. She is just another misunderstood Black woman who is having her gender and ethnicity questioned. Are they really, Shar? I mean, are they really, Susie? Because and I'm sorry for popping my lip, that is really, really bad. She is helping the people. She was giving back to the community. I'm sure that Nike and Facebook will say that they want to give back to underprivileged communities. She was doing that. I don't understand why there's a problem. So prosecutors, did that. The vast majority of the money went to those other people. Was kicked back to Furlough Smile. Prosecutors in the sentencing memo said that Meta determined that Furlough began her scheme within months of joining the company. See there, she's ambitious. She didn't wait. She didn't settle into it. She didn't do it a little at a time. She jumped in headlong into her scheme. That is a person who is ambitious. And excuse me, within months of joining the company in 2017, and that she manipulated individuals who were close to her, trusted her, including former interns who considered her a mentor. Excuse me. After she was fired from Facebook in mid 2021, Furlough Smiles worked for Nike from November of that year to February 2023 as the senior director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And while there, she executed a theft scheme similar to the one that she did at Facebook. Here's the deal, though: she apparently did it on a smaller scale. I am too, dear Woxie. I didn't get any money. Nothing was funneled to me. And Susie, yep, community equal immediate relations. Absolutely, that's her community. Come on now, Susie. Come on. So Furlough Smiles, who lives in Marietta, Jason, she's probably a neighbor, and an 8-year-old daughter with her husband, and has an 8-year-old daughter with her husband, was sentenced Monday in Atlanta federal court. District Judge Stephen Grunberg also ordered her to pay restitution of $4.9 million to Facebook and another $121,000 to Nike. So basically, she has to pay back everything that she stole from them, which is probably an impossibility. She's going to be doing that the rest of her life. I'm sure whatever, I don't know what job she's going to be able to get, but they're going to probably be garnishing her wages. And I don't know that she'll ever get back to where she was. I hope she still has some of that money so she can actually just hand it back over to them. But as with these people, we know it's probably all gone and she's lived it up. I wonder if she, like Fonnie, likes Grey Goose. Dear Woke, see if you see her around the way at the Publix or the Walmart, the CVS, before she gets sentenced, before she has to turn herself in. If that, because I don't know that that's already happened, let us know. Ask her for us. Let's see what we have. Why is there not a girl? Oh, we were talking about the Dear Woke C Atlanta Must Be Stopped shirts. I think Dear Woke C posted that in here. Yep, he did. Let's do that. So you can get your Atlanta Must Be Stopped t-shirt at the link. Just smash it. I will also link that into the description. I'll add that to my list of things to link into the description when I finish. Green is V's favorite color. Yeah, I'm sure the money's gone. I'm definitely sure the money's gone. And Meta, for their part, noted that they lost more than $4.5 million because they've had to do attorney's fees and all these things to investigate the fraud scheme. So it wasn't just like she stole the money and then that's just it. They've had to investigate it. They had to fire her. I mean, I'm sure they didn't have to pay her a severance package, but you never know what they write into these contracts because Meta's a woke company. So wouldn't it be funny if even in her termination letter, they still had to give her a little something, something after she stole $4.9 million from them? Who knows? We will keep an eye on that too, and let you know what happens with that when she has to report to jail. The next thing I'm going to talk about, y'all, because I really am trying to keep it short today, because I have to do some things with the kiddos and help them out on some stuff, is my favorite, your favorite divorcee, Tia Mowry. Tia is out here. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we do that, let's not leave the city girls yet, because I forgot. I left one thing out on Fonnie in my little tab here. So we know that Fonnie won her primary. So she's going to be the person who is facing Courtney Kramer in November for the Fulton County election. And y'all know DWC and some of his live stream chat have offered to help her out in her endeavors. I'm not surprised Fonnie won her primary, and I'm really not holding out hope that Courtney Kramer is going to beat her. But I appeal to you, Courtney, if you're watching, if you happen to see it on DWC's channel, reach out. Phil from Inside the Law, he also thinks that Courtney has a good chance to win if she pushes hard. Y'all are optimists. I'm not so optimistic. But I'm praying for her, and anything I can do to help, I'm willing to do it. So, but Madam DA is actually appealing the 6 charges that were dismissed by Scott McAfee from the Trump uh, election interference campaign that she's charging. So the Scott McAfee had told her that she could try to get those charges reinstated, but instead of, and the reason he dismissed them was because they, hold on, before I do that, let me stop sharing and I'll bring myself full back in. The reason he dismissed them was because he said that there wasn't enough specificity. If you charge someone with a crime, it has to be specific enough for them to be able to defend themselves against said crime. If they can't defend themselves, why is there this charge? So Scott told her, her office, but her, told her that the charges weren't specific enough for a defendant to be able to defend themselves against them. So he was dismissing those charges and that she could try to get them reinstated. Now, you would think that would mean, I probably think that would, I'll say me, I'll talk about myself so I'm not putting anything on anyone else. I would think that would mean for me to go back to the drawing board, make the charges more specific, and file them again so that I could get them reinstated. Madam DA said, ha, hold my gray goose because I'm going to appeal it. And so now we're going to watch a little video telling us about the fact that she is doing so. Here we go.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis is trying to get her election interference case restored to its original size. The DA has appealed a March ruling dismissing 6 of those counts, 3 of them charging former President Donald Trump. Good Day's Mark Teichner is live from the Fulton County Courthouse with our developing story. Mark.
That's right, Ron. You know, and when these charges were dismissed, the judge said that the DA's office could go back and try to re-indict them. Instead, District Attorney Willis has found a more creative way to try to get them put back into the case. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis is trying to turn the tables on former President Trump's efforts to get her removed from the election interference case. The DA's office is appealing Judge Scott McAfee's March ruling dismissing 6 counts. Edge defendants solicited public officers.
Oh, sorry, y'all, for the, so I did not let it go all the way.
To violate their oath, one stemming from Mr. Trump's infamous phone call with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
While leaving most of the charges in place, the judge threw out 6, saying those counts didn't allege sufficient detail of illegal activity. Willis is using something called a cross appeal to get them restored. This allows the DA to appeal a ruling if the defendants have already appealed something else. The former president and other defendants have asked the Georgia Appeals Court to overturn Judge McAfee's ruling to leave Willis on the case, despite her personal relationship with former Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. The hearing leading up to that ruling drew national attention, culminating with Willis taking the stand.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020.
In her motion, district attorneys did not lay out why she thinks the judge's ruling should be dismissed and overturned. As far as some of the other defendants that are facing those charges that were dismissed, you've got Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, and Mark Meadows, just to name a few. Reporting live from the Fulton County Courthouse, I'm Mark Teichner for Good Day Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, I hope that she's a memory soon. She's just a proverb and a byword, God's fancy girl. I am not holding my breath on that. Oh, I also, that doing this reminded me of something I want to tell you. So my adopted home state of Arizona has gotten in on the fun, and they have charged Rudy Giuliani and some others with this whole election interference, kind of the fraudulent electors thing. They have charged them with that too. So Arizona's gotten in on the fun now. So we will have to kind of keep watch on that. It's interesting that in this case, they're not charging President Trump. And I found a video of someone saying why they didn't think they were charging. Oh, I remember. It's because they were saying in this case, because Trump is trying to get immunity, claim presidential immunity and they're saying they're not charging him because there's not that chance they have to fight all that. So they're trying to actually push this through with his, I guess they would call them co-conspirators who are not able to claim presidential immunity for any of these things, so that maybe they can push this through and get some convictions. I will let you guys know how that's going. Maybe do a video on that, or do with the, because I actually pulled up the indictment, and the interesting thing about that indictment is that there are names that are redacted, which I found really, really interesting. But maybe I'll do a video on that, do that, go through that indictment, because Arizona is my adopted home state. I love Arizona. I love Phoenix. And yeah, I was like, they got in on the fun too. We're going to move on to something a little more lighthearted. Yes, Brienne, every state is corrupt. His servant, Arizona, is corrupt. But like Brienne said, every state is corrupt. And I believe that it's getting more corrupt because in Arizona, simply because of the fact that they are California in our Arizona. That was like a big thing when I was there. A lot of people, excuse me, from California were moving in because it's close to California, so you can still visit family, and it was cheaper to live in Arizona. And we had a big thing, and I know still now some people who live there, they're like, don't California my Arizona. We don't want to be California. It's why we don't live there. And like with most people, even moving, I think about my state now, which is my home state, my birth state of Alabama. People are moving here because we're attracting businesses from other places because it's a more business friendly state, and people from California and other blue states are moving here because of that. But the thing is you don't leave your trash behind you. You want to bring your trash values. You move from the state because they were crushing you in taxes, they were crushing you in all these other things, and then you move to my state and you want to ruin that too because you don't leave behind the trash values that made your state trash. If you can't do that, stay where you are. Stop trashing my crap. Sure, Joel, you know it too. Yep, California ruins everything. Yeah, you don't want it. It's ridiculous. Brienne said she's lived in California, Texas, and Washington, and they all have their issues. Absolutely. You have fallen people trying to execute government, and as I believe it's Machiavelli, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you give people power, you give them access to money, as we've seen with Tiff, Fani, and all the rest of the people that we have, these city girls. And it's not just them. We know that it's other politicians too. We've seen how Nancy Pelosi and even the male people, I mean Joe Biden, he's only worked for government. Bill and Hillary Clinton, they went into their poor, they came out millionaires. Same thing with Obama's. So it's not just women, it's not just black people. I will say these city girls are fun. It's sad, but they do hilarious things, and this is one of those reasons Shara was saying we should repeal the 19th, that women should not be in charge, because we just take it to another level. We just do outrageous things. Like, it's like, seriously, ma'am, seriously, you Tiffany Tahoe, Henyard in Dalton, you thought it was okay to pay a man for all but 30 hours of work, of 30 hours in a work week. I mean, 30 hours in a week, in a 2 week period, excuse me, because it wasn't even a work week. He charged like 300 hours of overtime. It's like, when did you sleep? When did you sleep? Fani bursting into a courtroom. I mean, we just take it to a whole other level. It is, yes, it is. It is a get rich quick scheme to be a civil servant. Yeah, yes. And Brienne Hill says if you come to a conservative state because you like it, you have to get involved with keeping it that way. Absolutely. And so honestly, I'm not, when I talk about Fulton County, when I talk about Georgia, I'm really not talking about them in the sense of it's all their fault, because it's all of us. We don't get involved enough. We don't hold these people accountable. We have looked at government as our bosses, and in this country at least, because it's not that way. You have kings, you have potentates, dictators, and things like that in other countries who their rule is absolute. That's not what we have in this country. We have it where we get to elect our leaders. We get to and they're elected to represent us. What that means is they work for us. The government does not produce a thing. They don't make money. They take money. It's yours. And we have not done a good job collectively at holding them responsible. I mean, everybody says, "Ah, it's the government." We have our sayings about how, everything moves slowly at the DMV, and basically any government entity. We're like, "Oh, and we talk about these things. And honestly, we just haven't done enough to try to improve them. We just have acted and behaved like that is the way it has to be. It doesn't. These people work for us. They're using our money. We are literally paying them. And until we decide we've had enough, and not just going to town hall meetings and city meetings and yelling at them, but actually putting action to that, finding people who are of good character, good stature, running and running them and making sure that these people don't get elected into office, we have the government that we deserve. We do. We do. Let's see what Shar says. You have Nancy Pelosi heading committees that she and her husband have invested in. It's unethical and nobody does anything because they're all corrupted. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like they're all trying to get that bread in their pockets. They're lining their own pockets with our money. Well, his servant, they don't suffer the consequences because they make the laws and they exempt themselves from almost everything, which is why I like term limits. I think that's good. I think that, I mean, I look at the founding of our country. These guys did not sit in Congress forever. They had jobs. They weren't even there all the time. They had actual jobs they had to go home to. They had to go till the farm. They had to go work the family's distillery. They had real jobs that made money. They weren't dependent on the government, the taxpayers' money to fund their lives. And I mean, the consequences that we can do, we can hold them accountable by getting them out, and then we can hold them accountable because a lot of our sheriffs and all these people are elected pushing to have them arrested, held accountable, or at least to pay back what they stole from us. Yeah, term limits are a definite thing. So now I'm going to move from government to my girl Tia Mowry because she just keeps giving us desperate and a poster child of why you should not leave your marriage. So recently, in essence, and I hope I did not delete my article because I wanted to go to the article first. I'm going to start deleting the tabs that I actually have done. And and I did. Okay, so now I have to find that article again. But there's an article in Essence that tells us to stop criticizing women such as Tia Mowry who leave good men. And of course, they have good in parentheses. See if I can pull up that Essence article. Okay, let's see here. This was published May 17th of this year. And before we see what T is up to, we're going to go through this article. Once it comes up, I am hoping that this is not too big of a drag. I'm enjoying the comments that are here. Thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't, please like the video. Give me any kind of feedback you'd like in the comment sections once we're done. I am going to try to actually see if I find some good extracts from this and make some smaller, chop up the videos, make some smaller ones so that one, I can produce more content, and two, that if you don't want to sit here for an hour, 2 hours, which mine haven't been 2 hours yet, but an hour, hour and a half listening to a whole video, and you just have sections that you'd like to watch, you can do that. I am still learning, so thank you guys for being on the learning train with me. I appreciate it, and I love all the comments that I'm getting so far, both the good and the bad. They don't bother me. Thick skin. So Essence says, stop criticizing Tia Mowry and women like her for leaving good men. Tia Mowry has been divorced for some time. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, so let's read this part first. It says, without really knowing why she ended her marriage, people have been giving her a hard time as she's been open about looking for love. It's tired. Is it really tired? Is it really tired? Because we didn't ask Tia to let us know about her looking for love. We didn't ask her to let us know about her divorce. She decided to tell us that she was graduating from her marriage, that she was leaving her husband because it no longer served her, and decided to share about how hard it's been to find another man. Tia and I are the same age. She will be 46 in July. I'm 46 now. Ma'am, I've never been married, but I learned a long time ago that the dating market when you're in your mid 30s is not what it is when you're in your 20s. And I don't have children that are biologically mine. Y'all know who my babies are. But yeah. So Elizabeth Ayula, May 17th, 2024. Tia Mowry has been divorced for some time now. Yet folks still won't let her live. The actress posted an Instagram video where she did a skit about her guilty pleasures in men that was intended to be fun and lighthearted. But of course, the internet used it as an opportunity to drag her for divorcing her husband of 14 years, Corey Hardrick, and for now being on the hunt for a new mate. This isn't a new occurrence. Every time the actress and mother of two posts anything about dating and relationships, a swarm of internet mobsters scold her for leaving her marriage. Meanwhile, these insufferable strangers clowning and taunting Mowry for leaving a relationship that was no longer serving her have no idea what the dynamics of that relationship actually were. While the twin never gave a clear cut reason why she divorced, that's not that it's our business, she made it known that she was no longer happy in her marriage. Notice what it says. She made it clear that she was no longer happy in her marriage. So I guess she did not listen, or maybe she didn't take, because we all know people make up their own vows at this point. When it said, for better, for worse, richer for poorer, sickness and health, till death do you part. Hey, transplanted Texan, thanks for joining us. Glad to see you here. Yep. Social brands, celebrities sharing every inch of their lives as if we're supposed to obsess over them is what's tired. I wish they'd keep some things to themselves. Yes, bring back diaries. Write it in your dear diary. Dear diary, I'm leaving my husband. File the divorce papers. Honestly and truthfully, if they did it quietly outside, we probably would get, because I'm sure there are news papers and media outlets who are looking for their names in open records requests that they have, and searching the wire for those on court sites. But most of us don't know and wouldn't care. But since you invited me in, I'm one of those people. If I feel like commenting, I'm gonna comment. So she can go somewhere with that. And I would also say there aren't internet mobsters dragging her, because I looked at the reel on her Instagram. We're gonna take a look at it in a second. And most of these women are like, yes, girl, I understand, girl. Oh, I'm just so in love with this. Oh, this makes me so happy looking at you. This is so fun. This is not fun. I digress. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's go back to the article so that we can watch this Instagram reel. Meanwhile, okay, so we had that. We said that she was no longer happy in her marriage. I knew when I really started to focus on my own happiness, she said on Today with Hoda and Jenna back in November 22 after announcing the divorce. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children, our family, and our friends. Oh my goodness, imagine somebody caring about somebody else and not making it all about them. But at the end of the day, it's about self love. I wonder, and I'm thinking to myself, her kids have to read this one day because the internet is forever. So it's like, she says that, let's see, I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children, our friends, our family. But at the end of the day, it's about self love. Now, y'all, I will let you know, even though I majored in a science, my best subjects in school were reading, or English, history, literature, those things. It was words. My reading comprehension skills are pretty good. I will admit I'm older now, so they may not be as good as they were. But reading, connecting those two things, to me, it seems like she's saying basically, yeah, we take care of everybody else, but it's really about ourselves in the end. And that makes me sad because I'm thinking your kids will have to read this one day. You have children. Um, that makes me sad. I would not want my kids to read that I'm saying, yeah, we women always take care of everybody else, but at the end of the day, it's about self love. I don't have biological children. Y'all know I got my babies, I got my nieces, I got my nephews. I wouldn't want them to hear me say, I would never want that to be written down for posterity that at the end of the day, it's about self love. She goes, when you start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, and know your worth, then all of a sudden there's this awakening. And it's not easy. It's a hard journey. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's so worth it. I, I, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself there for about that. I think two things are driving this idea that Maori is foolish for leaving her ex-husband. The idea that if a man isn't doing anything extreme, a woman should have no reason to leave him. And that when you leave a good man, you won't find another. Where's Tia's next one? Hey Violet, I see you here. Thanks for joining us. Happy Saturday. We're talking about your girl Tia Mowry right now and her foolishness. Thank you guys for welcoming her in. Yep, there is that garden lie again. Self, absolutely, Brienne. There we go, Shar. The Bible is clear. God first, others second, yourself last. Yes. And people tend to think that that means that you are just completely neglecting yourself. One, scripture tells us to love others as we love ourselves because we instinctively, naturally love ourselves. That's not the problem. The problem is in loving others, and that's why we're told to love ourselves, to love others as we love ourselves. You don't have that problem. It wasn't like Tia wasn't eating. It wasn't like Tia wasn't sleeping. It wasn't like Tia wasn't working. She was doing all of those things, but she felt that I guess her husband was holding her back from the self love because she didn't just dump the children. And I'm sure, you know, I mean, I'm based on what she's saying, I'm not sure that if she could have, she would not have, and maybe even everybody else. Again, I just reading her words, reading them coldly, reading them sterilely, just looking at the words she's saying. This does not make her sound good. But let's go back to the article. The lady talked about how when you leave a good man, you won't find another. She hasn't. Look at that. That looked like a happy couple. He's a handsome guy. Okay, I want to challenge the first point by saying that cheating and beating aren't the sole grounds for leaving a marriage. Where they say that at? Is there another? I'm sorry. And you know, I know that there are people who are Christians who say that there are absolutely no grounds for getting divorced. There are those who read scripture and come away with that, you know, you have, you know, infidelity. So sexual immorality is the way the Lord put it. And then there are people who talk about abandonment, because I know Paul mentions that if you're a believer with an unbelieving spouse and they'll dwell with you, you should stay with that unbelieving spouse. But if that spouse leaves because they don't want to stay in the marriage because you're a believer, if they leave you, if they abandon you, that you are free to marry in the Lord, to marry in the Lord. And I know that people hold to various, what some people say, you never, no matter what, there's no reason for divorce. Like, even if they're not saying that you should stay with someone who beats you, they're saying you are free to separate because you are making yourself safe, you're keeping yourself safe, you're preserving your life, but that you should never divorce that person because marriage is completely permanent and there is no reason for divorce. There are those who say only infidelity. And you know, you have the people who interpret the passages that speak on divorce and grounds for divorce differently. But we know that God hates divorce. We know that's not what he intended. As Shar said, marriage is supposed to be for a lifetime. If you can't handle it, don't get married. And thank you, transplanted Texans, like your spouse is the other you're supposed to love before yourself. Absolutely. If you have a spouse, you are to love them before you love yourself. And wives, you may not like this. You're supposed to submit to your husband as unto the Lord. You are supposed to submit to him. He is the head of the house. He has the final say. This does not mean that he does not consult you, talk to you about things, value your opinion. You don't lead, ma'am. You're not the leader. He makes the final decisions because he will have to answer to God for that. Husbands, you are to love your wives sacrificially as Christ loved the church. It means, yeah, you got to throw yourself in front of a train for if it calls for that. Not that you're just doing it for what, but you are to give yourself to your family to protect them and taking care of them, and taking care of them. We're gonna go back to the article. I want to challenge the first point by saying that cheating and beating aren't the sole grounds for leaving a marriage. And by the way, people will still tell you to stay even when these things occur, or even worse, blame you for the cheating and the abuse. Well, that's just dumb. People who tell you that you have to stay in a space, and I'm saying in a space with a person who is beating the mess out of you, that is just foolishness because that is a recipe for disaster. So you telling me that somebody is saying that you have to stay with somebody who is beating you, and I'm just gonna let y'all know I'm a person. I don't do the whole serial cheating. It's not that I can never forgive infidelity, but you are not going to take Dear Woke Christian's thumbnail, play in my face, and think you were going to cheat on me over and over again, and I'm still gonna stay there. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I've never been married, but I don't play that in a relationship. And I'm not going to play that in marriage. Not saying again that I could not forgive infidelity, but a person who continually does that, who is a serial cheater, that's a problem for me. So I'm just letting you know. A woman leaving a marriage to pursue her happiness might be selfish by the patriarchy standard. So y'all, you already know where she's coming from. But it is also brave. It's brave, y'all. It is brave to leave for your happiness. How many of you in the chat right now feel happy all the time? How many of you in the chat right now have one single thing that makes you happy all the time? My point to that is if you are chasing happiness, you are going to be disappointed, and you're always going to be chasing something because what makes us happy one moment may not make us happy the next. There are things I used to love to eat that would bring me joy to eat. I don't like those things so much anymore. So yeah, um, chasing happiness that's not brave. Fighting through something that's hard, that's brave. There are lots of people who will tell you they have fought tooth and nail for their marriage. It wasn't always easy, but they have come out on top, and they've come out happier, happier than they would have been had they left. Okay, so let's see here. Women have been indoctrinated to be selfless and self sacrificing, and it mostly serves the people who benefit from our oppression. There's the other magic word we need, CRT bingo, just for this article alone. Us learning to be a little more selfish means we learn to have stronger sense, better boundaries, and can pour from a full cup. Basically, what I'm saying is that selfish isn't the worst thing a woman could be. Our identity doesn't need to be wrapped in being selfless, excuse me. To address the second point, we need to unlearn the idea that when we leave a good man, we won't be able to find another one. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and the love shared is still valid even when it doesn't. Okay, so let me get this straight. You left a man for no good reason. Now, and this isn't a whole little deal like you broke up with your boyfriend because it wasn't working out, even though he was a good man. We're talking about your husband. This is the person you made a vow to. Somebody wrote a note and said, "Would you be my girlfriend?" I said, "Yes." I know they don't do that anymore, but we're just going to go back to those days. And I said, "Yes." That hasn't bound me to them for life. But these people have gotten married, and now it's like, "Oh, you can just leave that." I don't. You're talking about marriage as if you're gaining weight and can't wear your clothes anymore. We're like, oh, that dress wasn't meant to be worn forever because you gained weight. That's not the way that works. And I know that is a very, very bad analogy right now, but these aren't clothes that go out of fashion. Marriage is not an accessory, a bag that was last season's bag and now, oh, it's not meant to be carried forever because that was so 2000, late 2008, whichever way you want to say it. But we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna try and get through the article because I still have the videos I want to show you, and I have a couple more things I want to get through before we end the live stream. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and the love shared is still valid even when it doesn't. It is possible to have multiple loves in your lifetime, and it's time to hang up this idea that the only way to do true love is to meet one person when you're young and spend the rest of your days with them. I wonder if this person is married. I wonder if this person is married or if they're one of the bitter single women. While there's nothing wrong with aspiring to that, it isn't the ideal world we currently live in. That's 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 just a dumb sentence. Just grammatically, everything is just dumb. Sorry. And she ended it with a preposition. I know we do that, but it still bugs me. Many of us aren't taught to know who we are and what we are from life during our formative years. So now we're gonna throw parents under the bus. Now I would agree with that. Hold on one second. I see your question, transplanted text, and I'm gonna start just so I know that I have it. So we spend a chunk of our lives as adults trying to figure that out, which we see Maori doing. This woman is doggone 45 years old. That's called midlife crisis. She's no. What are the odds that when you come out on the other side, you'll still be compatible? Many relationships don't survive self evolution, and that's not something to shame anyone about. Shara, I saw you mention the comment earlier, bring back shame. We really should. Sometimes you evolve into a completely different person and your values no longer align, which means you just can't work it out. Luckily, there are billions of people in the world, and it's possible to create another love story at any point. Tell that to the women like myself who have never been married that you could just find another love. We're still looking for one. Y'all, I'm still looking for a second date. Let's stop projecting our beliefs on Maori and other women like her. We don't have to stay with men who are seemingly good, but not so good for us. We can find love again. No, it's not true that there's nothing good out there. No, everybody's dating pool doesn't have pee in it. And just because you feel like the chances of finding love are slim for you doesn't mean that it's the same for other women. Let her live. That is a whole hot mess because statistically, the dating pool shrinks as you age because people are getting married and excuse me, and people are just we're just gonna put it. I mean, people my age die all the time. People are dying. So yes, ma'am, it absolutely does shrink. Even if they're not getting married, they're coupled up. So you have less to choose from. And I'm not gonna say it's hard to find a man or even a woman, but if you're looking for quality and you actually want a marriage and a partner, it absolutely is hard. Let's see. Question from Transplanted Texan. Do you see a correlation between the views expressed in this interview and the emphasis on self-care, aka society? Yes, ma'am. Oh, the fact that we are so obsessed with self-care at this point is it annoys me. Like I really hate self-love. I hate those terms. Like they trigger me. And I know we use the word trigger. Trigger is a trigger word too, but they upset me because they vex me. That's Q's word for it. They vex me because again, we act like we don't love ourselves. Anyway, we do. Again, it's why the Bible tells us to love others as we love ourselves. Want to know why? Because we love ourselves. And I know that people talk about hating yourself, but that is another form of self love. You are still obsessed with you. It is still all about you. Even if you're hating on yourself, if you're like, I'm so this, I'm so that, and you're so down on yourself all the time, the focus is still you. It is not outward. It is not upward because it should be upward and outward. That is the way we should be focused. Upward and outward. Upward to the creator who created us to worship him, and outward to those who are made in his image. And that again, that doesn't mean that you're not doing anything for yourself. Just because I cook for my family doesn't mean I didn't eat. I get to eat too. And when you are in relationship with people and giving, and sometimes you do get tired, y'all. Let's be honest too, because we don't want to just lie and be like, you know what? You can just give and give and give, and you're never going to get tired. You do. You do get tired. You take a moment, you breathe. It's okay to take breaks. It is okay to be like, you know what? I just need to go eat some ice cream. Or for those of us that probably should do it more, I need to go exercise for a moment because I just need to reset. Because I'm telling you, the older I get, the less things I can handle. I'm really on that. I can only handle about 3 things at a time. And after that, I'm done. So I get that. I get that you need time, but that is not the way your life should be lived. It's kind of like with Christians, in I think it's First John, where he tells us if you say you have no sin, you're a liar. But he also tells us that if we're practicing sin, we're not born from above. And those are two different things. It's like we hear the word sin in there in both of them, but there's a difference because we are told that we still carry around this body of death, even as born again believers, people who have been regenerated and given a new heart and who love Christ and want to please Him. We still carry around sin. We still live in a sinful world. We still carry around this body of flesh that still wants to do sinful things. And there are times that we give into that, but that's not where we live. And therein, for me, I think lies the difference. I'm like, yeah, you get tired. Yeah, you want to take some time off, and that's okay. Go shopping by yourself and not take the family with you just so you can breathe and just do this thing that can maybe relax you. Go exercise. Go eat some chocolate chip cookies in the bathroom. But your life is not to be lived for yourself at all. Let's see. Brienne, you said there's a whole generation of women who feel like divorce is just normal. My mom was married 3 times. My dad was married 3 times. My mom twice. My stepmom. Wow. My dad is on his third marriage. So I get that. It's really sad that it's norm that it has been normalized. It really is. And Brienne, I am grateful that you are one of those people who has kind of cut that off. It says, I'm grateful we still have people with a biblical worldview, and yeah. And I know you've been married for quite a long time, and I think that's amazing, y'all. Like I said, I'm still trying to find a second date. So we talked about the article. Excuse me. Now let's watch the video. And I'm gonna see if I can get it on Instagram. If I can't, I will pull it up from one of the channels that I watch so that you can see what fun skit Tia was doing. And y'all, I'm running a lot longer. It looks like I'm going to run over my actual normal time, but forgive me, there's just some things that I wanted to get to. So let's see here. While we're waiting for that to come up, there seems to be a movement in the past few years where I hear women making loud proclamations about, yes, and then they get divorced. There is this whole thing. So y'all, I am in the manosphere, for lack of a better word. There's certain things I like I will tell you this about myself. If you've been in the comment sections with me for any length of time, you'll know I tell you all the time, I'm not the girliest of girls. I've been trying to work on that a little bit more as far as making myself up as I've gotten older, but I'm not the girliest of girls. I grew up with boy cousins. I have a sister, but both of us, we grew up with boy cousins, and we have not been like I'm not in touch with all of my feelings. And I'm going to tell you, I was one of those feminist people I didn't know I was. Hey, independent male, thanks for joining. I didn't necessarily know I was a feminist, but I was feminist like. But I had those tendencies because of the way I grew up and all of these things. And so I know what it is. Like, I'm independent. I'm gonna be, this. But I always wanted to get married. There was never a time I didn't want to get married. Now, mind you, I probably was kind of like, he ain't gonna tell me what to do, blah blah blah. But the Lord worked on me and softened my heart toward that. And I started to more understand, what my role was and who I was supposed to be as a wife. But I've always wanted to get married. Like, I was never one of these, oh, I never want to get married and it's just all just hurtful and hateful, and I never thought men were disgusting. I never thought men were anything. I definitely was on the whole. Again, I think I definitely was on the you know, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do. And I was the anything you can do, I can do better. I grew up in that era, so I will fully admit, I guess, saying I was one of them orangutans that the Standards of Truth podcast talks about, and by the grace of God, I he he saved me, and he started to pull that out of me. I still carry around about death, so I still fight it. And when Keon snapped on the woman and all this stuff, we were all like, oh, you ain't gonna snap on me. You're not gonna snap your fingers at me and hush me like that. So it comes out sometimes, and I don't think that that's necessarily always a wrong way to react, because he was just rude with that, even though she should have been quiet. I saw your question, Berean Babes. Does Tia profess to be a Christian? At one time she did, but she's all into the transcendental new age things. And one of the reasons, and I said I was going to do a video on that too, because I remember I grew up watching TBN and all that stuff. I don't know if they ever went to his church. But Clarence McClendon, I believe it was. I don't think it was Carlton Pearson. I think it was Clarence McClendon. They look alike to me, so forgive me, y'all. All black men look alike, especially the light-skinned one. um, they were on the show with him one time, and I want to say they may have gone to his church, but I can't remember. But at one time, they did profess to be Christians. What she is now, who knows? What she definitely is not bearing the fruit of a Christian. Let's see. So many Q's. I'm a Quentin. That's hey, Q's. It's why I refuse when I talk about Fanny. I do not put Q. I do not put the Q for Queen. I refuse to give her my letter Q, because we're amazing. She's not, so she can't have the letter. Yep, the light skinned one, sir. You heard me. Okay, so we're gonna do Tia. And I'm going to share with you from Chisha Zed. This is his podcast. I told you I'm kind of in the manosphere, so I'm going to share his video of Tia doing her little skit. Hold on.
About what she's. No one asked her to get online and share intimate details about what she's going through in her personal life. But the truth is,
that
look at their
independent
kids,
mail,
look at the
the
people who
coffee
suffer
pot.
the most when those families break up. You know what it looks like for those people. You might be the product of that.
Love that,
Joyce,
Charles Joel. I
welcome
did
to
not know
Coffee
that.
Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
So, guys, it's about that time, man. We have another update here from the woman who said she graduated from her marriage, Tia Mowry. In this video, she's describing the men that she now finds attractive since her graduation. For those of you who don't know, we've been keeping up with this lady who chose happiness over staying with her family and keeping her family together. It's been a train wreck, like we all assume, but we're thinking, you know what? Some of us, most of us may be wrong. Maybe coffee isn't so important for women today. Maybe they just may be right. The key to life is chasing your happiness, and you should find a man who wants a traditional relationship with the twist, right? Where you're spending all his money and you're not spending yours, or maybe that may have not been Tia's situation. But I'm saying most women out here, right? They want traditional man, protector, provider, while they still remain modern women who don't bring any traditional values to the table. We all may have it wrong, people, and somewhere out there, there's a man who's going to marry every one of these women who have broken up their homes. Tia Mowry lightly joking about her type of man. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
He has chicken legs. Where? He's covered in tattoos. Where? He has an accent.
Where?
He has long hair.
Ooh, where?
He's not famous. Where? He has a nose ring.
Where?
He's trash.
Where?
He's a bad boy.
Where?
That was too much.
All right, so that's it.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. At that point, we're not gonna do his thing. We're gonna talk about it ourselves. So again, as the article told us, she's doing this little skit about her guilty pleasures in men. And you saw that he's trash. He's this. She's like, where in the accent, all those good things. She had a whole husband. She had a whole husband. He's an actor. If she wanted him to put on an accent, he probably could have put on an accent. I think he does have a tattoo. I think Corey does have a tattoo. Not sure about that. But a number of the things that she was naming in that video, he it's some of his normal. He could have been those things in the sense of um that it's like it, he was a provider. He may not have made as much money as her, and he admitted that when they met, he was the broke one. She'd been on Sister Sister. We all know that. Um, but he was there for her. He loved her. When she announced they were getting divorced, he's like, I love my family. I didn't do anything, because immediately, and that I find that interesting too about the article that the lady wrote, was like, everybody thinks cheating and beating is the reason. He immediately, when he came out with one of the only things he's ever said about their divorce, he said, I didn't cheat, because he knew people would assume that. So I find it interesting that she's like, cheating and beating isn't the only reason people leave marriages, but people automatically assume that. And so that is why that's literally one of the only things he said. The only other thing he said is when people said he was dating his personal trainer, he said, I'm not dating anybody but my kids and my job. And Susie Q, yeah, I like that. It's like, in hindsight, we can see that she didn't choose happiness. Absolutely not. She's miserable. I mean, and again, what 45-year-old woman is doing that skit? But the sisterhood, was all up in her comments saying, "Oh, girl, this is so funny. Oh, I love that. Yes, I have those good pleasures too. Yes, honey, I hope you find love." All this stuff. There are very few people. Like, somebody actually did say, "She's 45, right?" Like, no, and they didn't even say 45. I'm being generous with that. They said, "Is she pushing 50?" And she is, because mathematically, if you round up, it's 50. She is closer to 50 than she is to 45 if you're using math and you round up. And somebody else said, this is just sad because she had a husband. So this look that she thinks is cute and fun and funny, and all these people basically are big upping her on, it looks desperate and sad and pathetic because you left a whole husband that people want. And yeah, she is a foolish woman. She is a very foolish woman. And that sketch shows that she's a foolish woman. And I'm looking to see, I see all you guys are talking about the various things you do to to kind of just break up the monotony and to relax yourselves. I saw that let's see, Brienne said she used to sketch a lot, in your angsty years. Yes, yes, I get that, ma'am. Music totally relaxes me. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all. No, I'm not listening to Christian worship music. When I do that, it's like when I've had a really, really hard day, I will put on some Whitney, some Michael Jackson, and one of my favorites, the Backstreet Boys, and I will dance around as I cook, and I will just listen to that, and it immediately relaxes me. It allows me to release the tension that I've had. I saw that Susie Q said that she burns off by running a couple miles. She can cope by running a couple miles. Ma'am, I used to do that. I'm trying to get back into it, but that's not, I will admit, that's not my thing currently. Shara, let's see. We said glass. Some women cope with a glass of wine. Yes. You know what? I will say this though. I really do understand the drinking housewife when you have kids. I do. Kids will drive you to drink. You just don't become an alcoholic. But I get how they drive you to drink. I love them. They're great. But it's like, whew, some days. Um, let's see. I saw that Shara was saying something about video games. I'm trying to find yours, Shara, but I can't. Let's see here. We're gonna see what Q had to say. The other Q, Quentin. Let's see. It's cute today, but funny. 48 months. She'll be another video, another Viva and Lisa. Yes, she'll be another Vivica and Lisa. Yep, she will be. She can't find a man now. There's another video, and I may do when I splice this, because y'all, I'm learning to try and do that. Take my videos and break them up. I haven't done any of that. Part of the reason is because I really hate to hear myself on recordings, and I don't like to watch myself. But I'm planning to start with this one, splicing some stuff up, and I may add in another video when I take this part apart. Because there was another video where it was like, oh, she was kind of teasing the whole little deal. Oh, she has a new boo, and it was just ridiculous, and it was uncouth for a mother, for any woman to do, but definitely a mother and a 45-year-old at that. But that is for another day. Let's see what Brienne said. Oops, sorry. I always think about that whenever I see sensitive things in the news. Families attached. Yes, there were. Yep, yep. I saw that. She said you had a family tragedy play out in the news. We as adult children and spouses did not. Yeah, no, and you don't. And that's the thing. Nobody is thinking about the children. The teacher on The Simpsons. I was like, what about the children? And in this case, that is a very valid question. A lot of times people use that to try and push things that they want. Like the left will push that for using more money for schools when they're making children more dumber and indoctrinating them. But this is a very true question. Like I said in the article, I would never want my kids to read that I, at the end of the day, it's about self love. It's like, oh, you give yourself to these children. Because that's me paraphrasing and that's me interpreting what she said. But when I just read her words, we give ourselves to making everybody else happy, but at the end of the day, it's about self love. I wouldn't want my kids to read that. I would never want to even, because they may be like me and they read that and think, dang, I was a burden to my mom. That's not cool. Let's see what you said. His servant, your knees and back don't like running. I agree with that. Mine don't like it as much these days either, but I used to do it a lot. And you said gardening and reading are my two favorite things. Now I'm with you on the reading. The gardening, can't really do that. Um, you're listening to I am listening to Tony Braxton. I love her music. Like what was it yesterday? And I did not listen to it. I was thinking about it as I was driving to the salon to get a beauty treatment, and I was like, oh, I want to hear Deadwood by Tony Braxton, and I did not play it. So Quentin, independent male, you have made me. I'm probably gonna play it today. Do a little Tony today when I'm done here. So that was Tia Mowry. And and like I said, the sisterhood was big up in her, telling her, girl, you're great. Do you? That's so funny, girl. I know how that feels. I would do the same thing. And then we have this same sisterhood, which it's like the Standard Truth podcast says, you have orangutans who can't manage their own misery and they want to make you bitter. So they're like crabs in a barrel, trying to push you down. So, let's see here, real quick before I go to the next video. What's wrong with so many people in this world thinking it's putting them out to be there for others, for their loved ones? Ma'am, if you have not heard, it's all about self-care. It's all about self-care. So, being selfish, she told you in the article, being selfish is not a bad thing. I would argue that it is. So now, again, like I said, the sisterhood was big up in Tia, having her back. And as you saw in the article, somebody is like, yeah, on what she's doing and she can find love. And how dare we tell her that her life is over and she can only have one great love. Then you have the sisterhood hating on a married woman. Y'all know about Simone Biles and how people have just dragged her and her husband for him saying that he was the prize and for saying that he did not know who she was really. We're going to play again. She said, love him in the coffee pod. I have not bleeped anything out. I can't remember if she should bleep his out. So there may be some language for those of you who have sensitive ears. My apologies. But yeah. And then real quick before we play it, self. Yep. And you know what? Bye, my is what needs to be in front of that, because that's what Tia is right now, and that is what most of these crazy ladies are, who are, I can do it, I can leave, I can do it. Like I said, I'm trying to find a second date, y'all. Okay, so here we are. This is the sisterhood coming for Simone Biles, and we'll probably watch a little bit more of this one because this one, he pulls up some comments about what people were saying.
Stop making jokes at the expense of my man. Y'all can, I'm gonna block you. And no, I don't need to touch grass or whatever the suggest. If you support me, I love you. If you don't support me, kick rocks.
Listen, they're hurt. They're hurt. They don't know what to do with this, right? And they're just praying for their downfall. They're just praying for their downfall. Joseph, welcome to the Qoffee Pod. My name is Tisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Simone Biles tells single, bitter, miserable modern women to F off. But, you know, she was a little bit nicer than I'm being with it. She said, respectfully. Guys, she's finally hit the tipping point here. What am I talking about? For those of you who don't know, Simone Biles is an American artistic gymnast. She has over 37 Olympic and World Championship medals. She's the most decorated gymnast in history here. That's who we're talking about here. An incredible woman, but she's different. She's different. She's not your average woman. And when her husband revealed that she shot the first shot when they met and now they are married, and he joked around about how he believes men are always the prize, women everywhere lost it. Women everywhere lost it, but not just any women. We're talking about the single, bitter, modern women. And if they're married, it's probably just a matter of time until they graduate from their marriage and do the Tia Mowry thing. So what's happened now? Well, what she warned would happen if the bitter women wouldn't back off. She warned them. She gave them a warning, and she said, hey, I wish I could respond to all these bitter women talking down my husband and saying he doesn't deserve me. Why? Because women, modern women, will accept nothing less from a man or a future husband than, no, number one, you're most likely not married. You're just hating on me because they didn't like the fact that she backed her husband up instead of joining the bitter sisterhood. But the truth is, guys, she warned him. She warned him. Do you guys remember this video?
When that was all going crazy and trending, what are you guys saying to each other?
I thought it was hilarious what people were saying, divorce him. And then they hurt my feelings. And then like one night I broke down and I'm like, why are you guys talking about my husband like this? Like, you don't know him. You don't know who he is. And if anybody's met him, they know he's the sweetest guy and will do anything for anybody. That really hurt that they were talking about my husband like that. Talk about me all you want, but don't come for my family. No.
That was the warning. Talk about me all you want, but don't come for my family. And did they stop? No, they did not. So what exactly led to her cursing the whole sisterhood out? That wouldn't leave her alone, by the way. Well, the 2024 Core Hydration Classic just took place, which is a gymnastics competition that featured a lot of great gymnasts like Simone Biles, Sunny Lee, and Gabby Douglas. Now, it wasn't what happened during the actual competition. It was the comments people were making. Let me give you guys a few examples here. And this was actually made by actual media companies too, who were coming at them publicly. Like actual mainstream media platforms were doing this during that competition. They were disrespecting her husband, like this commenter who wrote, Mr. Simone Biles is a lucky man. And so
we're going to pause that really quick for a second. How disrespectful is that? Now, I get it. Most people know Simone Biles more so than they know her husband, Jonathan Owens. But it's not like you know his name. So this is just made to be disrespectful. We'll continue.
Why is this disrespectful? She's amazing. Here's somebody else who says she's amazing. I hope her husband went to support her. But the main thing were people and the actual media outlets calling him Mr.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Simone.
I think I accidentally,
and so
there we go. I think I went back.
Why is this disrespectful? Well, because they're pretty much putting her in the masculine role and saying they have no respect for him and essentially calling him the female in the relationship, like she's wifing him. Here are other people, like this other commenter who said, Simone Biles' husband could never. She's amazing. Here's somebody else who says she's amazing. I hope her husband went to support her. But the main thing were people and the actual media outlets calling him Mr. Simone Biles. And for specifically the fact that he said he really didn't know who she was when he first met her. They didn't like that coffee.
Put that coffee down.
Then you had another comment here that says, was Mr. Simone Biles present? Now, you guys want the actual proof, I know, of her cursing them out. So let's check out this post. It reads, I'm going to quickly address this. The joke was never a joke. Y'all are blatantly being disrespectful to my relationship and my husband. So I'm going to go ahead and say this one time. Respectfully, F off. And if you keep commenting or tweeting at me, I'm just going to block you. Simple as that. And no, I don't need to touch grass or whatever the F y'all suggest. Joseph, guys, listen, if you've been paying close attention, you know.
Again, there we go. So let's see here. We'll go. She told them to, like Q said, get bent. Now we're gonna hear what some of these lovely ladies had to say.
We know your careers. We know your medals.
Hold on, let's see. Second. I'm trying to get it to the right spot, y'all, because it's
prepared and we can't.
Simone Biles. We don't say his name because we don't know his name. We're not joking when we say that. We know your name. We know your accolades. We know your we know your medals. We know your achievements. We know you. We don't know him. So no, we cannot say a name. We are unfamiliar.
Simone Biles is a pick-me. I'm not surprised that she propositioned her husband and approached him and ran him down and slid in his DM, because that's what pick-me's do. You know, they work hard for what they want. This is the same Simone Biles that said that she wanted Zendaya to play her in an autobiopic. This is a Black woman, a Black Olympic medalist, saying that she wants to be played in a movie by a biracial woman that looks nothing like her. Simone been Delulu for some time. This is nothing new. And I'm sorry, but the only reason why she's with that man is it's like, nigga, what? But again, she doesn't care, because the only thing she's worried about is getting picked by a light-skinned man. She got what she wanted, so you know, congratulations, I guess. But yeah, she'll figure it out eventually. They're gonna break up, and she's gonna get a white man next. Watch.
So I want you guys to follow
Okay,
this.
but here's the
very
thing,
quick.
y'all, real quick. So she said that she's a pick me, and that's what they call girls who are okay with submitting to their husbands and who are actually okay in wanting a man. They call them pick me's. And she said that she'll learn because they'll eventually break up, and then she'll get a white man. But you know what? Let's say that does happen. I pray that it doesn't. I really pray that they have a long life together and that they keep their vows, and that nothing happens to their marriage with either one of them. But let's say that that does happen. And this woman said that she'll go get a white man. You know what she's still gonna have? A man. You know what that lady in that bonnet probably doesn't have? A man. She probably got a couple baby daddies though, along with the other lady. And as somebody said here, we don't know who you are either. I thought I started. Let's see. Did I start? It's like we don't know your name either. So, ma'am, and then right here down at the bottom, somebody said that they don't want oh, her husband is black, Berean babes. He is black. She's saying he light skinned. He light skinned with light eyes. So, but yes, he is black. I hate the term pick me. Yep. Yep. Um Pick me is a woman who actually wants to be in a relationship. Absolutely. Absolutely. But she'll still have a man. They'll still have baby daddies, more than likely. I don't know these ladies, so I'm just assuming. And statistically, I would probably be right. They got baby daddies, and they probably got more than one baby daddy. Simone Biles has a whole husband. She has a whole husband. And here's something that I think is interesting is that the career that Simone Biles chose, because she's very accomplished and she has had a career, but the career that she chose allowed her to do that at a younger age. And so she is, I think Simone's maybe in her late 20s now, maybe mid to late 20s. She could get married. She could, let's say once, because the Olympics are, I guess, oh my gosh, they're this summer. They're in July. Let's say after this Olympics, she could retire from that. She could do sponsorships, not have to work so much. She could start a family, and she could be there for her husband and raise a family and do all of these things and not have to struggle. And you know what she'll have? A husband and kids. And you know what they'll still have? Baby daddies and bitterness. So I don't really think that they care. I really don't. I really don't. And they are delusional. They are delusional. Again, and I say this as a single woman. So I'm not married, never been married, have never been proposed to. My kids ask me that. They're like, TT, have you been proposed to ever? Never, not once. And I can sit here and say without any equivocation, you're still gonna be bitter and you're still gonna be alone. I am alone. I pray that the Lord would give me a husband to live out the rest of my years with, however many of those he has seen fit to give me in the future. If he doesn't, yet will I praise him because I know he doesn't withhold any good thing from his children, and he is still growing me into the likeness of his son, even without a husband. But we were made to get married. Now, y'all, I'm pushing 50, as the person said under Tia's comment, so I'm not trying to have any kids. Don't judge me. Janet Jackson is what people like to point to. Janet Jackson has a nanny and money. I don't have any of those. So, not about having kids at this point in my life, but I would like a husband to share and grow with and to, and I've enjoyed helping to pour into to my niece and nephews. That's been an amazing thing for me. But yeah, again, they're still gonna be bitter, lonely, wearing bonnets on their head. What is, and that's another thing. What is it with wearing bonnets on your head in public and on the internet? I've seen some ladies who I even agree with. I'm like, why is the bonnet on your head? When did we make that okay? Quentin, can you answer that? Do you know? Let's see what it says. Statistically, female gymnasts retired before 25. She's had a very long career. She has. She has. See what do you say, Barimbe? So these women have a problem with the guy that's light skinned, even though he's like, yes, ma'am. Oh, you know what? Light skinned brothers aren't in. They were in like the early 90s or so, but they're not in now. Black people are very colorist, ma'am. We had the paper bag test within ourselves. Black Americans did. We did. They're very, very colorist. So what they're saying, and the reason, probably the reason they said that she will probably get a white guy next if this marriage does not work out, is because she's sliding down that color scale. She's trying to get him. He light skinned with light eyes, and that's not black enough. It's not generally how black people go, and how black people are. We don't usually have those characteristics, the whole little light eyes thing. So she gonna slide down the scale and get her what she actually is looking for, which she loves her husband. She drove 45 minutes to see her husband for the first time. She loves him. She goes to support him. And she even in the interview that they were, oh, not that interview, I think it was a subsequent interview, or maybe it was that interview, because they talked to her when they, after they talked to him, they're like, she's like, you know what, in a couple of years, and maybe they're like, Simone who? Simone Owens, Mrs. Jonathan Biles. Not Biles, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Mrs. Jonathan Owens. She's saying that he's going to do his thing, and she was supporting her husband. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely prejudice in a different way. And people are mad about that. She was supporting her husband. Supporting her husband. Oh, really? I thought all you Hispanics were light skinned, Char Joe. Y'all not all light skinned. That's true. That is true. It could be. It could be 10 miles, but she still drove it. Because I hate when it takes 10 miles. I hate driving in Houston. I really do. But I wouldn't want to take 45 minutes to drive 10 miles. I know. He's not. We're gonna go back to the video, y'all. I'm sorry, I've been here for way longer than I intended, but thank you guys for sticking with me. Here we're gonna go back to this video because he's gonna eventually play the intro, and he has a couple of little things that I want you guys to hear. Oh, let me share because I forget to do that all the time, and then I'm listening to it and talking about it, and you guys do not see it.
It's a woman who uplifts her man today. That's the world we're living in. You are an enemy of progress. Progress being what? They don't think men and women are different at all. And I'm not talking about making women submit to their men. No. I'm talking about there are women out here who want their men to lead the family, and they want the type of dynamic that they can sit back, be a helpmate, play the background. They don't want to always be the spotlight because you know what they want. They're not used to seeing a woman who's the most decorated woman in history, who's like, I don't always need the spotlight on me, right? What they want to see from Jonathan Owens is Russell Wilson behavior. They want that 7 times a day, bowing down and worship while she sits there and takes it all in. They're disgusted by seeing a man who's valued and uplifted and who's also happy. Who's also happy. Now, Chisha, are you saying that they're the happiest couple in the world and they're never going to have problems and they're going to outlast? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this. Notice how society today hates, number one, masculinity and relationships where man is not putting his woman on a pedestal above him. If they had it their way, I promise you, you'd be bowing down 7 times a day. I promise you. And if you ask me, I think she handled this very well. I need to read the last message here. It says, at everyone else that supports us, we love y'all so much. Wonderful.
Okay, so then I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit. I got to figure out where I wanted, because I wanted to do the intro with the lady. Oh, here we'll do this so we have this comment.
Man uplifted and a black man at that.
Oh, hold on. Let's go back.
It also says Mr. Simone Biles, a contract, the video of a head over coffee deficiency.
Okay,
it's
here
impossible. It's impossible. You see it over and over again that it is impossible. I just got some comments from other people here who have something to say about this situation and what she said in response to bitter, single, miserable women. Top comment here says, y'all be mad at athletes and celebrities choosing white spouses. But every time there's a black couple that seem head over heels for each other, like DDG and Haley, it's people attacking them constantly. And I just want to point out, it ain't the men attacking them either. This is true. This is true. I did a video of exactly that. Somebody else here says, bro just signed a $5 million contract. Y'all act like bro a stay-at-home dad or something. Yep. They definitely act like the man has accomplished nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here's somebody else who says, Mr. Simone Biles, give Simone Biles her phone back. So they're like, oh, there's no way she's saying that. He has to be doing it. And you guys have to realize it's not only the women who have a diluted understanding of marriage and what it looks like. First, women who hate to see a man uplifted and a black man at. He's supposed to be doing this, not her. She keeps acting like he is the prize. No, she's defending something. This is a great strategy because at least now she's pretty much saying, I don't care what you guys have to say. I choose my man. If he was doing all the talking, they would somehow justify it as him being toxic, misogynist. They're going to flip it, but they can't call her misogynist. Of course, they can use the whole, oh, she needs to stop centering men, whatever. But this is the best approach to this situation. A woman who's sticking up a wife, you know, something a lot of these women will never be, never be. A wife sticking up for her man. When people have decided in their minds that you are wrong no matter what you say, there's nothing you can say to change their mind when they're too far gone. You have to realize where to cast your pearls. You know, there's a Bible verse that talks about how you shouldn't cast your pearls at swine because they're pigs.
All right. So yeah, you're right. Nobody came out for Sean Johnson when she married Andrew East. It is an okay. So one, women hate other women. Two, black women really hate other women. We feel like we're fighting for every man, and trust and believe. Lady with the bonnet, lady in the car who was talking about we don't know who he is. If Simone Biles, if they had a chance at Jonathan Owen, they would be chomping at the bit. They're bitter. They're alone. And again, they probably have baby daddies. So I need them to hush it. And Shara, I saw that. Let's see, I started a couple of comments before I go back to this. So I really want the opening to end this, and then I have only a couple more things to share with y'all, and I promise I will let you get back to your day. Again, I appreciate you being here with me. Susie Q, yeah, they'd rather have her single and miserable and hopping from man to man because that's what they're doing. They want her to be on the misery carousel ride. Yes, ma'am. Brienne, I saw this. I didn't see it. Be safe. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. And let's see, Chara, this is why social media is a cancer on society. If these people had to say these things face to face, I highly doubt they would. Yeah, most of them wouldn't. Although now, Chara, people are big, bad, and bold, and they're just dumb and don't care. They're reckless. I do think social media has helped to make it that way, definitely. But some of these people actually would because they're crazy and they really think they can say anything they want to you. Let's see here. We had that one, and his servant was saying that she agreed with you, Shara. He agreed with you. Let's see. But they wouldn't know how to keep. Yep, they wouldn't know how to keep a man. Yep, see, they wouldn't know how to keep a man at all. They can't keep a man. And again, it's like April says, they can't manage their own misery, so they just want to make you miserable with them. I'm going to go to the part in the video. This is the part I wanted to get to. This was at the beginning. Oh, and here, let's do this comment because I think this is an amazing comment too. This is let's see here. Let's see if he's starting.
She says just bitter black women intentionally trying to ruin another black woman's marriage because low key they're jealous and want what she has. Let's keep it all the way tall and call it what it is. The sisterhood of failure trying to recruit another bitter, lonely soul.
And that is what it is.
Wow.
That is what it is. They want her to be bitter and lonely
scripture.
like them. And then now I'm gonna move it to the end here because this is ridiculous what this person is saying. I mean, I get parts of it, but she talked about Simone Biles' press release, which was really, I think, just her doing her Instagram. Okay.
I'm wasting time. Let's get
here
it.
we are.
Oh, okay. I had to make sure because Simone Biles, I know you're not talking to me. Simone Biles put out this little social media press release basically saying, stop making jokes at the expense of my man. Y'all can I'm gonna block you. And no, I don't need to touch grass or whatever the suggest. If you support me, I love you. If you don't support me, kick rocks. You can get blocked essentially. And I was like, number one, I know she's not talking to me. I ain't saying nothing about your husband, girl. Don't, please leave me out of this. But I get it. She's basically saying that she's annoyed about the jokes. You know, people call her husband Mr. Simone Biles. And I honestly did not even know this conversation was still going on because after the first time when he did that interview claiming he didn't know who she was or whatever he said, and then they found his tweets on Twitter liking, I think, videos of Gabby Douglas. So clearly he looked at some type of gymnastics, and then people commented a bit, and she told y'all to shut your single, bitter, lonely, unmarried up. At that point, I didn't have to. I had nothing further to say about the conversation. I do understand why people want to talk about it because it does seem like even a person living under a rock would know who Simone Biles is, but I has the right to block whoever she wants to block. She says she's gonna start blocking people, and there's really no point in people on the internet being mad at her husband on her behalf, and especially when we don't know either one of these people. It is a fruitless task. What did the elders used to say? If you like it, I love it. What else is there to be said?
Listen, they're hurt. They're hurt.
And we're gonna end that video there. It's like they are hurt. It's because she's right. It's none of our business. Their marriage is none of our business. We know, again, we do know about their marriage because of who she is. But she told y'all, don't come for her husband. She told y'all she's happy, leave her alone. She's okay with who she married. She's okay with her life. She's happy. Y'all are bitter. Y'all are broken. She said, get out of my way. Stay out of my business. If you want to support me, great. If you don't, keep your doggone mouth shut because I don't care. And I don't blame her. I would block people too. It's ridiculous. And this lady who we just saw, she is one of those bitter people. Yeah, if you like it, I love it. But the attitude with that, because it is true, you can't force anybody to believe anything. But in this case, she wants her to believe that they want Simone Biles, and she's included in it, to believe that her husband is trash. And he's not. He's a good man, and every last one of these crazy, ratchet, bitter women, if they had a chance to holler at Jonathan Owens. They would. In fact, some of them are probably in his DMs as we speak. They are trying to bust up her marriage because they're bitter alone and they got nobody. Just straight up truth. Just straight up truth. There's a lot more that I wanted to share with you guys, but I have gone over, so that means I'm gonna have to make some more videos this week to cover some of the other things I wanted. But before we go, I wanted to share with you guys something I thought was hilariously funny, sad and hilariously funny. So let me say that. Sad and hilariously funny. I'm going to close all of these tabs that I had. And I'm saying before we go, in the sense of I don't have anything else that I'm going to share with you guys. If you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, you guys have been commenting throughout, so please feel free. And I actually lied to you because there are two more things I'm going to share. I did not star that one. Let me star that just so I have it because that's something I want to do. We're going to take that one off. I have two more things that I do want to share with you. Maybe three. We're going to see. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm lying to you. I don't mean to lie to you. We've done that one. So we're going to share three quick things. Okay. You guys, I don't know if you saw my video, but I had a video about the Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker's. I always want to say Butker's commencement videos. Commencement speech. I did a video about that and how he's the hero that we deserve because he basically said, hey y'all, I get it. You ladies have accomplished something. You should be proud of the accomplishment you had. But he said, I know that most of you are really looking forward to being married and starting a family. It's been the greatest achievement that my wife had, that she says. And it is it's been her greatest achievement. She's most happy having done that and supporting me. And the funny thing about it is that everybody, and I may do a video actually going over his speech. I know Vi did one and she did it from the perspective of he's Catholic. So there were all these Catholic things that he was saying that we should not overlook because he's Catholic and is spreading that. He was speaking at a Catholic school, and that wasn't the part that everybody is really on him about. They weren't on him about his Catholic faith. Because yeah, we definitely can talk about that, but he was honoring traditional family, traditional values. He may have been doing it for his own reasons, but he was honoring that. And the interesting part about it is he gave props to his wife. He's like, because of who she is, I can be who I am. It's the achievement that I have is not solely because of myself. So he was actually giving props to his wife, and he was like, hey, you can do the same thing for somebody. I digress with that. But interestingly enough, and I say this because I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Teenage years were in the 90s, and grunge rock was the thing, and you had Pearl Jam. And so Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam decided he wanted to weigh in on Travis Butker. So I'm gonna try and really quickly go through this article. So Eddie Vedder slams Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. And so here's what Eddie said. The rocker expressed his feelings about Butker's belief in no uncertain terms during Pearl Jam's concert at MGM Grand in Las Vegas Saturday, May 18th. He was strongly against the athlete's assertion that women should prioritize raising families instead of pursuing careers outside the home. How dumb is that? How dumb is that? Why does he care? There should be pride in homemaking, whether you're a man or a woman. Okay, let's stop there. Homemaking is for a woman. And really quick, I appreciate that, Shara Joel, that you were on there with Jason for 5 hours. So you're not holding 2 hours against me. I appreciate that. And who has social media when you have the YouTube? I agree. I'm mainly a YouTube person myself now, transplanted Texan. He actually gave another speech. Susie, are you talking about the one he gave at Georgia Tech last week, or did he give one this year where he doubled down on what he said? Because I'm not sure what you're talking about. Because I know that he spoke at Georgia Tech, which is his alma mater. He did their commencement address last year, and he said at that time he had 2 Super Bowl rings, and he was like, "But the greatest, the ring I'm most proud of is the ring on my left hand, the wedding ring." He was saying he was most proud of being married. He told them basically to get married and have families too. And I agree, it's nice. I'm happy that he's not backing away from what he's saying. He is who he is, whether you like it or not, and I love that. So see, there should be pride in homemaking, whether you're a man or a woman. Homemaking is for the woman. Women are told to make homes. They're told to teach other women, older women to teach younger women how to work, be workers at home, how to love their children and and their husbands. So he's wrong here. Whether you're a man or a woman, better said, it may be one of the hardest jobs, and you should definitely take pride in it. But you shouldn't not follow a dream. Double negative again. Sorry, because you think you're going to benefit by giving up your dreams. I couldn't understand that logic. But what if you do benefit from giving up the dreams you thought you had? Thank you for dropping that, Susie QC. If you guys want to see what Travis Butker said recently, then yeah, there Susie has graciously, as she always is, being the best moderator ever, dropped the link for you. I'm gonna go check it out myself. After this, he was telling men, don't puff. This is what he's saying. This is what Eddie was saying that Travis was saying. So he's interpreting. I don't know why. Cute. Okay, there we are. He was interpreting what Travis was saying. So this is Vetter saying what Travis was saying. He was telling men, don't forget to puff up your chest and be more masculine. Don't lose your masculinity. He said nothing like that. He didn't say that at all. I don't even think he mentioned masculinity in that speech because I did listen to the whole 20-minute speech. I don't think he ever said that. He continued. The irony was when he was saying that he looked like such a blanking blankie. So effing P. I really hate that word. I really do. Like that's one of mine. And I'm not one of those people who's necessarily um put off by words, but the P word is just really one I can't stand. And you're right, Susie. Goals and dreams change as we grow in age. And I can tell you for me that they have. There was a time that I was very ambitious. That ambition, I will tell you, actually went away quickly because as soon as I got into the corporate world, I realized what that consisted of and what I would have to do in order to climb the corporate ladder. And I quickly decided that that was not for me. So my goal and dream changed real quickly, even as a young person, because I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to reach the highest height because I don't like people like that. And I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't want to have to play all the political games. That's just not who I am. So, but they do. They change all the time. Yes, yes, Susie. He was holding back tears talking about how wonderful his wife is. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Like that's a dream. Just thinking about what Shisha was talking about with how women want to be worshipped. So wouldn't a woman who want to be worshipped, these lovely little leftist feminazis, wouldn't they want a man to be near tears talking about how wonderful they were? And his was actually authentic and real. Worships his wife because he understands her value and how she has helped him by playing her role, the role she was designed by God to do, how she's helped him to play his role that he was designed by God to do. And again, he talks about some other things that are really, really interesting and they're unique to the Catholic faith, but that's not what people are focusing on. So I personally am not focusing on that. Let's see. There's nothing more masculine than a strong man supporting a strong woman. And that is a lie. That's wrong. That's just foolishness and that's feminist talk. So it's like basically you're a dude talking like a girl. And here we are. This is what he said. He said, I would venture to guess. He didn't even tell them that they should. He said, I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. These are his exact words. He says, I can tell you that my beautiful wife Isabel will be the first to say her life truly started when she started living her vocation as a wife and a mother. What is wrong with that? Yep, feminism has ruined men. It has absolutely ruined them. Because I'm like, what did he say? He gave props to his wife for helping to make him the man he is. Aren't these feminists running around talking about how behind every good man is a good woman? Well, he said that. So what is your problem? It's like You can't. You cannot make women happy. And men are exhausted at trying, which is why we now have the drizzle era. And I think I talked about that on one of mine before, so I may have to cut something up. But I know it's late in the game and I'm way behind on drizzle, but I still want to do a video on it. But that's why you have men who are just giving up. They've stopped, and I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. They've stopped trying to please women. They've dropped out of the dating market. They just don't care to do it anymore. And it's so sad. Yes. Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. And that is what not Travis. That is what Harrison was saying about his wife. He values her. And if I get to that second date and can maybe find a husband who wants to marry me, who can speak about me the way he spoke about her because I am adding value to his life, I would have, with all the other things I have done in my life, if God were to be gracious and grant me to grant me a husband whose life I could enhance for the rest of our days, that would make me happier than anything else I've accomplished. I peaked in high school, so it's not really hard for that to be for me. But um, if he would grant me that and I could do that, that'd be amazing. Last thing, because I'm not gonna do the third one. No, I am. We're gonna do something. So second to last thing, McDonald's in the UK has decided to take the smile from their iconic Happy Meal box and replace it with a blank one and give you in your Happy Meal all various and sundry types of smiles in honor of Mental Health Month. So it says sometimes you don't want to turn that frown upside down. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Week, excuse me, McDonald's locations in the United Kingdom have removed the iconic smile from its Happy Meal boxes. Ooh, excuse me. The move aims to communicate that it's okay not to be happy all the time. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you that I don't want McDonald's helping me talk to my kids about anything. And I'm okay with the fact that they're removing the smiles from the Happy Meal boxes, not because of Mental Health Awareness Week and helping me talk about my feelings, but because it's trash. Happy Meals are trash. The food's trash. The toys are trash. When I was a kid, McDonald's Happy Meal toys were lit. You would get Muppet glasses. You would get little Muppet baby toys. You would get they had the Disney World celebration toys. Now it's trash. So remove the smile, not because you want to help me talk with my kids about feelings, because I don't need you to do that, McDonald's. I don't. But because your food is trash and it doesn't make people happy anymore, and so are your toys. Improve that. Improve that. Worry about what you do, McDonald's. Stay out of mine. So it goes that this follows research commissioned by McDonald's. Why is McDonald's commissioning a mental health survey, which reveals that almost half, 48% of UK children, feel like they must feel happy all the time, even if they don't want to be. The limited edition Happy Meal boxes have been designed to encourage parents to feeling. Don't want it. You want to know how I feel about your food? It's trash now. It doesn't taste like real food anymore. Some locations will also give out stickers with the updated Happy Meals. Okay, not all of them. McDonald's didn't disclose if they're going to roll it out in the US. Health Awareness Week concludes on May 19th. So there's another article, and it wasn't in this one, which is weird, where it showed all the various stickers. So you could be like, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling whatever. And it had the way that your mouth may look, or, to make the smile, the way that it may look, so that you could talk to your kids about feelings. I don't want you helping me talk to my kids about feelings. Just make your let's see. I'll skip McDonald's and go to In-N-Out. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Transplanted Texan. That was the second hardest thing about moving away from Arizona for me. The first one was having to give up my Arizona Cardinals season tickets. That made me cry because I wasn't there when they put Kurt and Larry into the Ring of Honor in the stadium. I helped open up the new stadium. I was one of the inaugural season ticket holders to the new stadium after having suffered so many years at Sun Devil Stadium in the cold and the heat with no shelter. And having to give up my Arizona Cardinals season tickets was the hardest thing about leaving Arizona, and the second hardest thing was saying goodbye to In and Out, because I would go get me a cheeseburger, animal style, protein style, so that I could actually get animal style also on my French fries. And I missed that. So yeah, let's see. Shara says McDonald's toys in other countries are great. Bought Hello Kitty stuffed animals online. They come from Happy Meals. American ones are approved. They are now. And Susie, you're saying the price of McDonald's food is going. Yep, they should be looking at cost cutting and not making. Yep, I agree. Let's see. We have a local place we go to for burgers. It's good. You see people in the community talk to this, right? I love that too. His serving. We have a little space here in the town I live in. That's a really good spot. It's a little dive. It looks. I think if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's kind of shaped like a what do you call it? A railroad car. And it has really good food. And I love local dives also. But In and Out, man, his servant. Oh, In and Out. I miss it so much. Let's see. I'm sure the mental health inserts. I would not doubt it. Of course. I mean, that's the cost cutting they're probably going to do. See, we have a little burger joint too, and it's awesome. Yeah. Now I will say this: I am happy going back to the In and Out thing, because they're actually moving east of the Mississippi, and we're gonna get some not here in Alabama. I don't think that the closest one is gonna be in Tennessee, which I will drive 2 hours and do a little day trip so I can have some In and Out every few months. So excited about that. Last thing I want to do, we're sticking with the children, but this is let's see. I'm sorry, we got to do this. I passed one location on my pilgrimage to my homeland. It is a must stop. I completely agree. Last thing I'm gonna do. This one also is about children. This is a funny haha, but not really funny haha. So there are four daycare workers, home daycare. This is a home daycare in New Hampshire who have been arrested for lacing children's food with melatonin at the daycare. I am going to play the video, which I haven't watched myself. So we're going to listen to it together. So hopefully it's a good one. And then we're going to read the article. And then I'm going to share with you my little thoughts about this. Oh, am I sharing? Yeah, I am. Woohoo! Look at that.
May I ask you a couple questions about what's happening? My lawyer.
Sally Dreckman declining to.
Uh-oh. Oh, sorry, y'all. I didn't do the. All right, so let's do.
Answer.
We're gonna do the article first. I'm gonna let it play out so that it doesn't stop and spaz on us. And then, so okay, so daycare owner and 3 of her employees have been arrested for allegedly sprinkling melatonin on children's food, police say. The incident began in November 2023 when police in Manchester, New Hampshire received a report alleging unsafe practices going on in an in-home daycare at 316 Armory Street, which led to a lengthy investigation, according to the statement released by Manchester Police Department on Thursday. Through an investigation, the police determined that children's food were being sprinkled with melatonin without the parents' knowledge or consent, authorities said regarding the case. The hormone melatonin plays a role in the sleep-wake cycle. Natural levels of melatonin in the blood are highest at night. Some research suggests that melatonin supplements might be helpful in treating sleep disorders such as delayed sleep phase. They also may provide some relief for insomnia and jet lag, according to the Mayo Clinic. Melatonin is generally safe for short-term use. Unlike with many sleep medications, with melatonin, you are unlikely to become dependent on it, have less response to it after repeated use, or have hangover effects. This is one of the ladies who was arrested. She's the daycare owner. It is currently unclear how long the daycare workers have been dosing the children's food with the drug or how much they were giving them. Police also did not disclose how the practice was initially discovered. Arrest warrants were issued for the owner, 52-year-old Sally Dreckman, who is the person we just saw, as well as 51-year-old Tracy Iney, 23-year-old Caitlin Filardo, and 23-year-old Jessica Foster, all of whom hail from Manchester, police said. The suspects turned themselves into police, and all 4 of them are charged with 10 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. The investigation into this case is ongoing. So now we're going to play the video because I think it shouldn't stop on us. So let's do that.
Questions as she drives away from her home. Police say.
May I ask you a couple questions about what's happening? My lawyer.
Sally Dreckman declining to answer questions as she drives away from her home. Police say she owns and operates a daycare out of this West Side house. She and 3 of her employees are accused of sprinkling a sleep aid supplement onto the food they serve to kids in their care.
This is something that is an over-the-counter drug that's usually used as a sleep aid that was given to these children with no knowledge for the parents and no consent.
Dreckman and those 3 employees identified.
Sorry, y'all. It's catching up. It's the buffer. We're going to stop it real quick, let it catch up with itself. I should have downloaded this. I apologize. Let's go back, let it catch up with itself.
No knowledge for the parents.
So let's see. We'll go through some little questions. His servant said, "That's horrible." And it is horrible, but I also found it kind of funny because of the fact that they were like these. And this is my assumption. This is me doing my whole little research. I'm playing Eddie Vedder here for a moment. They were like, these children will not go to sleep. They're always hyper. They were like, we all going night night. We're all going night night. Let's see. This is about In and Out. So yeah, Char Joel, transplanted text, is like, you must find time to stop. The burgers and the toppings are so fresh. They are. You actually see them making the fries because they have the potatoes and they're putting them in there, and the fries are they're made fresh from the potatoes. It's great. Char Joel's answering her back. Haven't been before. Yeah, you have to. You have to. Oh, I love Kingman. Yay. Sorry. See, they wanted the kids sleep instead of attending to the kids, or maybe it was nap time. Marie and Babes, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. Again, it's horrible, and they should not have done this without the parents' knowledge, and they could be messing with the kids' sleeping rhythm. But I still find it funny because they were like they wanted them to go night night. Let's see, what do we got, Shara? Both parents need not work in most cases, make sacrifices. Yep, this is about doing home. You wouldn't have to worry. That is true. And you are right, Susie. Melatonin is better than Benadryl, but it's still reprehensible. It is, but y'all, I thought this was so funny. And it made me think about the fact that I'm like, they wanted these kids to go night night. And it made me think about the song that we sung to the kids. I'm gonna see if this plays, and then I'm gonna end the stream with telling y'all what it's saying.
And no consent.
Dreckman and those 3 employees, identified as Tracy Inney, Caitlin Filardo, and Jessica Foster, are all facing 10 counts of endangering the welfare.
There 10 counts of danger welfare of the children. Okay, so I'm gonna stop because it's we're still having the whole thing. I'm gonna let it out because I really want it to play out because I'm watching this for the first time too. If there was a profile of incompetent child care workers, they definitely show that. So I don't know if you guys know this about me. You probably don't because if you've been in the comment sections and you kind of see how I comment, you can see this. I think of things in song or in terms of just TV shows, whatever. So, hey, sue me. I grew up watching TV, but I think things in terms of songs. And it's interesting because my family does too, my sister and my brother-in-law. And so the kiddos do too. And what happens is that we have my sister and my brother-in-law, before I ever got here, they started singing to my niece to put her to sleep, and they sang the song Yellow to her. My sister's favorite color is yellow. They sang the song Yellow to her by Coldplay. And so when the boys came along, kind of continued that tradition. And I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna come back to you guys. Yes, same song. Yep, that's what they do. We kind of continued that tradition, and so my niece started taking ballet at her preschool, and she was like 2 or whatever. And so I found the Lionel Richie song, one that I'd never discovered, called Ballerina Girl, and I think he wrote it for Nicole. And I started singing that to her every Monday because I think she took ballets on Monday. Started singing to her every Monday before she did ballet. She'd be sitting in her high chair, eating her little breakfast before she went to preschool, and her TT would dance around like a ballerina and play Ballerina Girl and kind of sing to her and do all that stuff. And then the boys came up with a song for them, didn't have one, so I just chose Two Hearts by Phil Collins because one, I love the song, and then they're twins, so 2 of them. So we started singing songs for them at night, and it's like, you got to find a song for them. Their TT adapted a song as they got older, and it's like they're not wanting to necessarily go to sleep, but it was a fun little song. So we'd all go into their room and we, maybe read Bible and do prayer time and all this stuff. And then so I made up the song, and I would call everybody in the house goes night night. Now I'm gonna attempt to sing a little bit of it, and I'm gonna say things. So if you know what song I took this from, again, don't judge me. Don't judge me at all. But it fits, and the kids to this day they still remember it. And every now and again they'll start singing. And I also have that my own little songs to each individual one of them that I started doing for them, and it has their names. I've incorporated their names into all this. But so the song that we sing is "Everybody in the House Go Night Night." It's like it's time to go night night. So it's like all we'll say children because I won't say their names. Like all the children in the house go night night. All the mommies in the house go night night. All the daddies in the house go night night. Everybody in the house go night night. All the teachers in the house go, and we just repeat it. So we repeat everybody's name. So it'll be each one of their names in there, and then it'd be mommy, daddy, TT. That's me, all the ends like everybody in the house go night night, and it's so fun, it's so cute because we started doing that when they were so young, and then now they'll be like, hey, everybody in the house go night night. Now again, when they figure out what song it was that I took that from, and if you know, don't judge me. But I thought it was fun. So I'm thinking so immediately when I saw this particular thing, this particular article, and I saw that they were feeding the children melatonin, the immediate thought in my head was everybody in the house go night night because they were like, you people are gonna go to sleep. Looking at the Motley Crew, I'm sure that they probably had some other things they wanted to do, and I would never leave my kids with them. I would never ever leave my kids with them. My sister and I have this thing, y'all, where we're like places we would never send our children. So up until about I guess 3 or 4 years ago, I used to actually travel for work, and I was traveling inside Alabama because I was assisting people. I was assisting in the projects here in Alabama, so I would travel for projects, and I would have to go down to this one project that's near Tuscaloosa. And you guys probably don't know because you may not be familiar with Alabama. But if anybody who listens to this after we're done, and you know what I'm talking about, so I would have to go down to near Tuscaloosa, like Northport area. Um, they would they had this daycare called Hey Hey Daycare, Child Center Learning. I'm not sending my child to Hey Hey. I'm not sending my child to All Children or Light Daycare. I'm not sending it to build. There are places my sister and I look all the time where we're like, I would never send my child there because of the name. And had I seen these people and known these are people who are going to be taking care of my kids, there's no way I would have sent my children to be with these people, melatonin or not. Thank you, Shar. We loved it. We love, and it's so much fun. And all the kids, even tonight, even to this day, the kiddos are older now, and so we're not all gathering necessarily together because y'all know I go to sleep early, and sometimes their schedules don't line up with my schedule, so I'm usually going to bed late. But the kiddos will actually come in and they'll want me to sing their song, their particular song to them, and I will tell you this. So my niece, her song is the Backstreet Boys. Oh my gosh, everybody, the Backstreet Boys, the back just came into my head, so now I'm like, Larger Than Life. My niece, the song for her, and yeah, all the ladies in the house. We've seen that too. All the ladies in the house go night night. Don't go night night until I'm done though. Backstreet Boys, Larger Than Life. That's the song I sing to her, and I've incorporated her name into. And then the boys, my older twin nephew, his is Stevie Wonder's My Cherie Amour. So I've incorporated his name into that. And then the younger twin, who's the youngest child also, because there are three of them. His is I incorporated him in his into I'll Always Love My Mama, so I changed the words. We don't say mama in the song or anything, but I incorporated his name in there and I made it I'll Always Love and then him. Oh, your husband is the coolest, Shar Joel. So when I come to Denver, he and I are gonna jam out because I love the Backstreet Boys. They are the only band that I've gone to see that I actually paid for floor tickets. I've seen some amazing people in concert that I think are amazing anyway. But Backstreet Boys, I have seen them in concert and they were pretty cool too because their last tour that they did that I went to see when they came to Birmingham, they actually did. If you bought a ticket, you got a CD. So they did kind of the Prince thing because when I saw Prince in concert, he was doing his musicology tour and he gave you a CD when you went to his concert too. But your husband is the best. He and I are gonna jam when I come visit you because I am going to make it to Denver. Susie, I'm gonna make it to you too. The DMV is my spot. I still have to come there. My dear old Howard, even though they're exasperating me on every scale, they're there, so I have to visit. So I am looking forward to meeting all of you late. Well, I met you in person by already, but I'm looking forward to meeting Shar and Susie in person that someday soon. We'll see how the schedule works out. But yeah, so you guys now know my lovely little secret. You heard me sing on my last video with O Howard. So I like to sing, can't sing. It's why I sing in the choir. But this article, though, again, it is reprehensible. I just found it so funny because I'm like, they were like, these children will go to sleep. And like you said, Susie, at least it wasn't Benadryl. It's not something they were going to get addicted to, but it is absolutely reprehensible. And never in life would I have left my children with those people. Yeah, I can't wait either, Shar. Oh, I meant to ask, Shara, how were the shrimp and grits? Because I know you guys were making that yesterday. So did the family enjoy it? Did you put cheese in the grits? Did you make a remoulade? Susie's gonna tell you that shrimp and grits with a nice remoulade, little gravy is the best way to ever have it. As long as there's cheese in my grits. I don't care about anything else as long as there's cheese in my grits. I'm good. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, that's all that I have for you today. I actually could go longer, but I'm not because I'm already an hour over my longest live stream. Anyway, where I usually like to be. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, give me your comments. You can give me your honest feedback. I have a thick skin. I can totally take it. You know, I'm be like Simone, don't come. You can come for me all day long. I'd like for you to be respectful toward me. You don't even have to be respectful. Just know I have a mouth. So if you get too in your feelings commenting and too disrespectful, I will clap back. But it's all in love. Again, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I know that there are ladies in the chat right now who are watching this live, but even for those of you guys on the replay, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. I've really enjoyed doing this. It took me forever to come out of the comment streets, and I'm kind of sort of happy I did. I'm trying to get more content out there, but I'm just learning. So I appreciate all of your support. I am just one girl in her little corner, literally sharing her opinion about life and her thing and things in this world. I can promise you I will not always be right, but my hope is to be God honoring. And I just want us to have a good time because that's what I love. Oh, Marie and Babes. Bye. Oh man, you were one of my favorite people. I don't know. I may have to demote you now, huh? We're gonna have to get you right. Gotta eat some grits. Thank you so much, Transplanted Texan, for watching for the first time. I really appreciate it. I always enjoy your comments in the comment streets. That is my native tongue, comment street. So I appreciate you guys also being here with me as I'm trying to navigate interacting with you guys on the live stream and running it. And you guys all know that I'm not very good now, but I'm praying to get better and I'm trying to get better. Thank you guys so much for being here and allowing me to share my opinions with you. God bless you guys. Yes. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. It's a long weekend. We have the Memorial Day weekend. Remember to just when you think about it, say a prayer for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for us to be here and be able to do these live streams and do all these other things to protest like some of these people are doing in our country and enjoy some time off hanging out with your family and good food and fun. Thank you so much, Transplanted Texas. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in Q's Corner. Have a good one. Thanks.